This podcast is part of the Everyday Heroes Podcast Network, the network for first responders and those who support them.
Disclaimer. All views expressed on What Makes Us Fire are solely those of the person or persons giving them. What Makes Us Fire does not represent or claim to represent any particular city or fire department, and therefore make the claim that all views and standpoints are affiliated with What Makes Us Fire and with What Makes Us Fire only. Any mention of certain fire departments or cities within the interviews are solely for informational and opinion-based dialogue. In short, if you have a problem with what's published, just say something about it and don't be a Richard.
Hello, What Makes Us Fire family. This is Josh, your host of the What Makes Us Fire podcast, founder of the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation. Thank you for joining us on the show today. Before we get started, I just want to talk about the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation real quick. It's a nonprofit foundation dedicated to helping our civil service members, be it military, first responder, active retired veteran, and our volunteers get inpatient mental health treatment. We do that by bridging the gap of the finances that are associated with going and receiving that kind of help. Too many of us give up the chance to go and help because we're going to be out of money, out of work for the time that we're getting that help. And we don't want to put our family and loved ones through any type of hardship because we already feel like we're already putting them through too much. So what makes us fire? That's what we do. We take care of that. We supplement their income. We take care of the actual payments of the treatment. They have a car payment, house payment, doesn't matter. They're worried about losing out on income. That's okay. We supplement that. We make sure it's like they were still working their overtime, their second job, their own business even. We want to make sure that these civil service members that are dedicating their time, money, effort, and lives to helping others get help just the same. I also want to thank the Spagnoletti Law Firm here in the Houston, Texas area for being a sponsor of the What Makes Us Fire nonprofit foundation, and of course the Everyday Heroes podcast network dedicated to having you and showing you podcasts that are made from and by civil service members like myself. All right, now on to the good stuff. My guest today, Miss Nova.kayne. You want to know her real name? Well, that's too fucking bad. That's right, it's too fucking bad. She won't give it to me, so you don't get to know it either. Her and I sit down, talk about her experiences as a child and what it was like for her working for 12 plus years as an EMT. Not an EMT firefighter, not police officer, but just a paramedic. I haven't had a guest that just worked paramedic and that wasn't a firefighter or something else. So it's a little bit interesting. We talk about the recognition and the lack thereof when it comes to our EMTs in the field. We talk about the mental health aspect of what she went through and the job. And then we get into a little bit as to why we refer to her as the feral chicken. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please wait until the end of the show and shoot me an email, whatmakesusfire.com. Here she is, Miss Nova.kayne, the feral chicken. Ah! That wasn't a chicken noise. I don't know what.
I put on my face before noon for you, so feel lucky.
I know, and you know, it's the fact that you did that is it's huge because I think like the last 3 times I actually talked to you, you were in your sweatpants.
Feral.
Yeah, you were feral. Yeah, exactly. You're feral.
I'm in silkies right now, in a flannel, like a baggy cake top.
Okay, so the What Makes Us Fire, they're going to want to see that.
I mean, okay.
You're going to have to stand up and show them that you're in silkies
okay.
and in flannel.
I am in silkies and flannel.
Yep, you are in silkies and flannel.
I am silkies and flannel.
It looks like
Look at
pooped. It looks like you pooped your pants.
I did not poop my pants. These are mediums, and I'm short.
Oh, okay. They're just really baggy on you. Got it.
Yeah.
How's the audio coming through for you?
Very clear.
Very clear. Awesome. It's a brand new mic. I'm all excited and stuff. I'll make sure
Yeah.
you're not hearing a whole lot of like background.
Oh, there's
stuff like that.
no reverb. You're good.
Hell yeah. That means I set it up right and I didn't fuck it up.
Proud
Go
of you.
me. Go me. So this
Proud
is
of you.
this whole thing has been taken fucking forever to happen, and that's
About a year.
partly on me, but partly on you as well. I'm gonna put it more
Yeah,
on you.
like, of course you. Responsibilities, because responsibility is a bit.
Yeah, no responsibility. Fuck responsibility, right? Who needs responsibility?
Apparently, we all do.
Negative, ma'am, negative. Give me 1 second. I forgot something. So whenever I do my podcast, and I don't know if you've seen them or heard some of them, but
I've heard of some.
okay. So a lot of my vices I use during the podcast because we're talking just like friends, just like we would sitting around a campfire. I'd be having a drink, having a smoke,
Yep.
all that other stuff. And I forgot one of my vices. So give me about 2 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay. If you said anything while I was gone, I didn't hear you.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I could have done to you what I did to Official Smith.
Oh, Jesus.
So what I did to him is like, hey man, I forgot something. Do me a favor. Introduce yourself. Talk like you're talking on TikTok or something, like when people
Okay.
ask. And then he was like, okay. And so I left and I came back and he's like, so I live in Montana. I'm like, wait, you're actually doing it? Like, bro, why would I ask you to do that? People can go watch your TikTok to see you do that.
Yeah, they know me. They already know me. Like,
Yeah.
no.
I can edit this out. Like,
Yeah, like,
But
you
I
already
laugh
know that.
you
You already know.
you would have done it. I know you would have.
Maybe, but maybe not. I would have been like, it's the feral chicken, and if you don't know, you should know.
Oh, okay, hot stuff. Shit. If you don't know who I am, you should know who I am.
No shit, right?
Confidence. I like it. We'll go with confidence.
I like it. And it's not arrogance, because I'm like, if you don't know, I don't give a shit.
If you don't know, I don't give a shit, but you should know.
Yeah.
Not arrogance, confidence.
Yes.
Okay. That works, I guess. However you want to do it. Anyway, yeah, it's taken about a year to get you on the fucking show finally. And
Glad to be here.
thank you for coming. Thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank you for inviting me, first of all, sir.
I invited you a while ago.
I know, but like now that we have like settled down a bit, I can actually like sit down, actually do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can
Mhm.
actually sit down and enjoy the, like, not worrying about a whole bunch of other shit.
Mm-hmm. Same with you.
Yeah, no shit, right? Same with me.
Ugh.
It's been one hell of this past year. It's been one
It
hell
has.
of a fucking year.
It has been a year.
So shortly after Vegas is when I got separated. Like very shortly after.
Yeah. Well,
then-
we knew that was coming. It was okay. I understand that she was an Amazon and absolutely beautiful, but
Yeah,
hear me out.
She is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely.
The tension in the air was absolutely palpable. Like palpable. And I sat down and talked with her and shit, and I asked her, "When are you gonna say something nice?"
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's what I lived with for 13, 14 years. So. Yeah.
Fuck all of that.
I'm not. I just want to make it known. I'm not saying anything. I didn't say what you said. I'm just
Making observations. I sat on that pool deck with her for the better part of an hour, and she had nothing nice to fucking say. I'm like, that's her husband. Like, you don't fucking have anything nice to say? Like, even if he's got his shit. Okay, he's got his shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you Pikachu'd that motherfucker. You chose him.
Exactly. And so
I
you
was
would
like,
think,
and you don't have one nice thing to say about this motherfucker. Okay.
I am not gonna comment on that. But
No. But I kind of
I wish
made
the
her
best.
feel uncomfortable.
Good.
Like,
I wish the best for her. I want her to succeed. She's the mother of
Yeah.
my children. So, but
Yeah.
other than that, I would
Like,
love
you
to
can
have. No, I would love to have a friendship with her. I'd love to have
Mhm.
like a cordial friendship where we can talk. Hey, do you need
Yeah.
anything? Do you need anything? How are you doing? Just
Yeah.
as friends, we can still hang out. I'll meet her new boyfriend. She'll meet my new girlfriend.
Go
Stuff
grab
like
a
that.
beer,
Yeah.
like, whatever.
Go grab a beer, hang out. I would love that. I would so fucking love that. Because she was somebody I spent 14 years of my life with.
Yeah, I was married once. And,
just once?
Just one time. I was married. I was young. He was significantly older than I was.
What's significantly older?
13 years.
Holy shit. I thought I was older than my girlfriend.
I was okay with it. Like, obviously, I'm a grown fucking adult. And he tried to put me into this box of, like, this God-fearing house marm.
Oh, and, he wanted you to be the in the kitchen barefoot and pregnant. Got you.
Yeah, and he would always beg me to believe in a higher deity. And I'm like, I'm neutral. I'll go to church with you. I don't care. I support your religious beliefs because you're my husband and I love you.
Right.
But he would, like, tie one on and then, like, tell me you believe in God. I'm like, I don't know if it's my shoelace or the fucking spaghetti monster, dude. Like, I'm just neutral. Like, I don't care.
It's you don't care, but you don't push the fact that you don't care onto everybody else.
No, hell no.
Exactly. See, you don't have to. Just like anybody else that has a religion, you don't have to push it on them.
No, I don't have one. Like, I'm okay with being myself. Like, I don't need a Bible to tell me not to be a see you next Thursday.
A cunt.
Oh, we can say that. I was trying to be nice. I don't need a Bible to tell me not to be a cunt.
Right. Yeah, no, so the podcast is 18 and up. We can talk about anything and everything that we want.
Noted.
So, yeah, no, you can.
Noted.
Girl.
Noted.
Yeah.
Take notes.
This is not TikTok. This is the What Makes Us Fire podcast, where I encourage everybody to be themselves 110%, because it's too often people are afraid to be themselves or censored, or you tell them to be themselves. And so they act it up saying, no, this is how I really am. And they start doing crazy stuff and all this. Okay, we're like, no, you're not like that all the time. We all know you probably just hang out at home.
You know me in person. So
yeah, no, you are just loud all the time. So I'm sorry. You are. You're loud all the time.
Why are you apologizing for an observation?
When you can find Nova on Fremont Street in Vegas with thousands and thousands of people, just because you can hear her through the crowd, mind you, she's 4 foot nothing, 5 foot nothing, and you can still find her in a crowd just because she's talking. Yeah, she's loud. She's loud, but it's cool because everybody loves it.
But at the same time, I'm not loud out of blatant, like, attention seeking. I'm just loud.
No, you're just loud. Yeah, no, like, people will be like, yep, that's Nova. Yeah. Yep, that's her.
That's where I need to go.
Yep, that's where she's at.
I have sex!
Okay, so let's go ahead and get this thing started. Let's actually start getting on track. So I don't really have a format as to how the podcast goes. I do ask some general questions just to kind of keep it moving. I do like to pry, and you already told me before that go ahead, bring it on, pry away. So I do like to pry. So if I feel like you're hiding something, or I feel like there might be a little bit more, I'll ask. And so if there's something that we talk about and you don't want it to be,
I'll just say pluck it out.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah, just be like,
okay.
Block it out, please, or edit it out, please, or.
Yeah,
but I don't.
I got you.
I have a feeling I'm not going to have to do a whole lot of editing unless we have some burps in the audio. So, which is going to be great. And I got this new microphone, so I won't have to do a lot of editing at all. Yeah, after this, actually, Pops951, Pedro, him and I are recording his return episode this evening.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be awesome. But right now we're talking about you.
I know we're talking about me.
Yeah, we are talking about you. And getting your ideas and everything else. It started off with letting everybody know what your actual real name is, because everyone knows you as Nova.
No, that's what it's going to stay at.
Just the first name?
Nova Kayne. I don't care. Nobody gets my government name at all.
Okay. All right. Nova. All right. Just wanted. It's usually how we go about it, though, and that's why I asked you, because some people don't want to.
Yeah. So. No, I don't do that. I have too much at stake.
The government's after you? Is that what you think? You wearing those tinfoil hats, people?
No. My luck as a woman, I would have somebody show up to my house.
I mean, I'd show up to your house.
You're welcome. Most people aren't.
Ah, okay. Well, there's that. Most people are not welcome to the house. Okay. Well, that makes sense. Anyway, so Nova, we'll just call you Nova. So usually I like to tell people how we met, right? And how I got you on the show.
Sure.
And I'll give them like a quick story. And then
Go ahead.
I was on TikTok. I was on live. She saw some of my videos. She loved what I was doing. She asked me about the nonprofit. And then she just full send supported the nonprofit and what I was about. And no questions asked. And then in Vegas, she damn near fucking took me out. That was pretty much how we met. It was all TikTok. Obviously, it was social media. But here's the thing. I don't know what it was about what I was putting out there that had you want to get to know me or support what was going on. So I just know you did, and I was extremely thankful for it. And your videos are pretty damn cool. You brought back the green flannel. Yeah. And if you guys don't know what the green flannel is, just go back a little bit in her videos. It is literally its own thing. So I have no idea what it was about what I was doing that had you feel like, oh yeah, I can definitely follow this guy. I can get behind what he's doing. You were one of the first people to buy any type of merchandise.
Really?
You bought a hat. Yeah.
It's still here.
You got
Right
the
here.
hat?
I do have the hat. The one I rocked in Vegas last year.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it.
That's the hat that you were wearing in
I
Vegas.
still have her.
You were one of the first people I saw wearing What Makes Us Fire gear that wasn't part of the What Makes Us Fire like board and nonprofit and stuff. And I was just like, holy shit, cool. What's going on?
Yeah, what's up?
I kind of just want to know, like, what was it about what I was doing or what Makes Us Fire was doing that had you feel like you wanted to support and be a part of?
What made me
Say hi.
Pikachu you?
Yeah, what made you Pikachu me? God, that sounds weird.
But Pikachu, I choose you. I've been a paramedic since I was. I got into EMS when I was 17.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had no business being on an ambulance or being on a fire truck at all. None. My mom had collapsed the summer before. She had high blood pressure. She was addicted to various drugs and everything else, and it was hotter than shit in Michigan. Hot. And she dropped. And I brought her back, and she said, "You asshole, you should have let me die." I brought her back. EMS came around. I was actually going to go military. I was going to go medical for the military. I would have been a doctor by now, to be honest.
Right.
But I dropped during MEPS.
Why?
Seizure. I had a seizure during MEPS. I have a brain injury. I have a massive TBI. My brain looks like somebody took a bite out of my head.
Okay.
And I was running my mile, like got an 87 on my ASVAB. I was set to like do whatever I wanted, but I had to pass the PT portion, and it wasn't some shit I could write off. It's like they didn't see it because people did, and I went medical instead. Jumped on the EMT program. Got my EMT. Was on an ambulance before I graduated high school. And then from there, I got my medic, and I ran Detroit Fire, private companies, etc., jails, everything else, until I was 23, met my now ex-husband, moved to Chicago, ran Chicago, and I've been medical ever since. And I understand the demons and the nightmares and everything else that comes with being a first responder. And when I saw your cause helping people with the shit we sleep with every night,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, done. I'm done. Like that is it. That's who I want to support, is the people supporting others in our profession, because we're not paid enough. Two,
That's for damn sure.
our health insurance is bullshit. It really is. It's bullshit. And, suck it up. You signed up for this. No, I didn't sign up to see what I've seen. Neither did you. Neither did any of us. Nobody signed up. We signed up.
You know what? That's such a stupid saying. Because it's like, oh, you're living life. That means you might be exposed to a tragedy. Suck it up. You might see something that you've never thought you wanted to see before in your life. But guess what? You're alive. So therefore the possibility's there and you're choosing to stay alive. So suck it up. I mean,
suck it up.
Suck it up. It's life. It's part of life. Just suck it up.
Suck it up for $10 an hour.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Well, the whole thing is people don't understand that we're normal people. We're normal human beings.
Yeah,
we just decided to do. We decided to do an abnormal job. That's all it is.
That's it.
We're normal people. We're just decided to do an abnormal job.
Feelings about it? You think I don't want to? You think I want to find your wife hanging from the closet?
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't want to do that, but
Nobody
I'm here.
does. Right.
And you were there, yeah. So now all of us carry those demons. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it doesn't just come with us. It doesn't just come with the first responders who cut your wife down, who was hanging from the closet. The husband found it.
Mm-hmm.
The medics found it.
Yep.
And now we get to go home and explain to our significant others or our family about what the fuck our day was. So they get to carry those demons. Like, it's a trickle-down effect, and it's not the economic stimulus package that we wanted.
No, it's not. As a matter of fact, you actually brought up a pretty good point. And we're jumping way ahead here on our conversation. That's fine. And I appreciate the fact that you did follow us and what I was about and everything. And I knew you were a first responder. I just wanted you to tell the story. But
12 years.
12 years as a first responder. I've been doing this for almost 15 years now. Actually, 15 years this year. So, no, it'll be 16 years this year. Holy fuck.
I was 17, 18 when I first got involved. Got my license when I was 18.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how old I am.
I already know.
I've been doing this for 16 years this year. First responder. Anyway, we're gonna go into happier subjects. I really do appreciate you and the fact that you allowed what I do and what I put out there to mean something to you, and the fact that you support what I'm trying to do means a lot to me as well. Where do you? I know we jumped around a lot with all that, but I like the audience to kind of get an idea of who you are and where you came from. More of not just this is where I lived, this is what I did, but like what was childhood like for you, all the way up to where you are now. And the reason why I like to ask this question is because a lot of people tend to think that when you're in the first responder realm or civil service realm, it's usually the job that creates a mental health issue or creates that trauma that puts you into PTSD. But here's the thing. We're all human beings before that. Like we were human beings before we put on the badge or the uniform, and things happened to us way prior to that. And then we decided to do a job unknowingly, going to have a lot more things happening. So I like to show people that before we even decided to do what we were doing, we were normal people dealing with everyday life stresses just like you. And we continue to do so. So that's why I asked the question. Where are you from? Where were you born? What was growing up life like for you? I mean, the stage is yours. You can take as long as you want. Wait, let me rephrase. I'm talking to Nova. Can't tell her that. I might interrupt you as you're telling your story. Sure. So if I do interrupt you while you're telling your story, I'm not trying to be mean. Maybe a little.
Just raise your hand.
I'm not going to raise my hand. It's my show.
Touche. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan. My parents are significantly older. My mom had me. There's 7 of us in total. I'm second to last of 7.
Second to last of 7. So my friends that I'm living with, I'm not living with them. I'm staying in their area. Yeah. They have 7 kids as well.
Yeah. 4 boys, 3 girls.
Holy shit.
2-bedroom house, no basement. And I was born and raised in Detroit. My parents are first generation born from Germany and Ireland.
Okay.
Growing up, it was tough. I was dropped on my head at 6 weeks old. I have a significant brain injury that looks like the CT scan is gross. It's on my social media. I've posted it. There was a lot of growing up was rough. My parents like, just made sure we didn't die. We were the byproduct of a toxic relationship.
Okay.
My parents were married for 30 years. They had kids prior, and then they had kids together. I only have one biological sibling, and that's my younger sister.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We had it rough. I will say that, between the addiction issues and them being perpetually shit-faced and everything else, like, it was abusive. You can't even come towards my face in a sweet manner without me flinching.
Right.
And that continued into adulthood. But back to childhood. My grandmother, I say grandmother like this because she was just the neighbor who helped me pull into the world, because my dad would have rather taken a shower than drive my mom to the hospital. Yeah. So he took a shower, so my grandparents drove my mom to the hospital. I was almost born in a fucking wheelchair, first of all.
That would make sense.
It would make sense. Because baby number 6, right? So
I'm surprised you just didn't slip out.
Right? I should have come out with a social security number and a job at that point. But it was rough. I will say that. I was yanked out of my house at 12 years old into CPS. I spent 6 months with my uncle while they either awaited placement for us or we went back to the house. And they determined it unfounded, but yet 6 months later, like, my dad was arrested on domestic violence charges. Like,
right.
It was rough.
What was the relationship with your siblings during all this? Like, how did you guys manage? Like, did you guys help each other, support each other through all that?
My younger sister and I did. My older sister that was there throughout the house, she would come and go, and then we would go to her dad's house, which is my mom's ex-husband, and we would go there, and we would be taken care of there. But my oldest brother, his mom, which is my dad's ex-wife, had a lot of drug addiction issues, so we never, like, really went there. And my mom hated my brother just for the sake that it was a child that she had to take care of.
That wasn't hers.
That wasn't hers, yeah. So outside of that, like, not really. It was just my sister and I. And then my neighbors, who I discovered when I was, I want to say, 16, 17. I discovered that the neighbors that I've been calling grandma my entire life were just my neighbors. Oh,
they were just your neighbors. So you were growing up thinking they were your actually family, and they weren't.
Yeah, then they weren't. They're still alive. They're very healthy. They're 92 years old and still kicking ass and taking names. But I would always say, like, I'm part Polish. Turns out I wasn't, because they were stubborn Polacks from the old country.
Well, if you did tell people you were Polish, I mean, I could see that. I mean, you said Irish, German, and Polak. Yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised you're not see-through right now.
I'm just Irish and German here.
I find it interesting because you hear a lot of stories about, kids that go through a pretty tumultuous childhood, especially with parents that aren't responsible, for lack of a better term, and they tend to rely on each other. They tend to, lean on each other. Well, you had 6 other siblings, and it was you and your sister.
In and out of the house.
So they were in and out of the house?
Yeah, but the youngest one was the one who was around all the time. That's Kelly. Kelly has been around my entire life. For the longest time, she convinced herself that, because you know me, I'm witty. I'm an asshole.
Right. Yes, you are.
In person, I'm an asshole. I'm not mean. I'm just an asshole.
Right.
If that makes sense. I'm not gonna hurt your feelings. Like, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not gonna fucking hurt you.
You're not gonna intentionally hurt somebody else.
No, I have no desire to hurt another human at all, unless they have it coming.
Right.
She was convinced that my wit was used to manipulate her. And I was like, no, it was a survival tactic. I've been learning to survive. I screamed for the longest time, our daddy ain't shit.
Right.
I've been telling you that this entire time. I'm not using my... Yeah.
She finally figured it out herself.
Yeah. We don't speak to our father anymore.
That's right. You told me about that.
Yeah, we don't talk to Dad. His dad sucks.
And we're gonna get there. What was school life like with this kind of childhood growing up?
I swanned.
You swanned?
Mm-hmm. I was the ugly duckling as a kid.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in school, what was that like? Like, how are you in school? What kind of child were you in school? Like, were you the comedian? Were you the quiet one? Were you the class clown? Were you jock? What were you?
I played rugby and I played hockey.
Perfect sports for you. Perfect sports
I played rugby
for
and
you.
hockey. I was the band nerd as well.
Oh, nice. What did you do? The flute?
Award-winning flutist.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say the flute. I knew you were going to say the flute. And
First
you know
chair
what?
flutist.
Yeah. How did band camp go for you?
I didn't do what you thought I did.
I just asked, how did band camp go for you? What the hell are you talking about?
I was allergic to everything under the sun, so my allergies kicked my ass.
Uh-huh.
But band camp was okay. They didn't really fuck with me too much. And our band director was actually my oldest sister, who is now in her 40s, was her cheerleading instructor back in like the early 90s. Well, so he knew who I was before I even showed up.
People know who you are before you show up anywhere.
I don't know. I don't know about that. School was okay. I was I excelled in history and science and sucked at math. Mm-hmm. I was trash at math, but I didn't get it till I went to college. It was the instructor as far as I'm concerned, because I went to college and I got math. Like, you either get it or you don't in high school.
Right.
I was the redneck. I was the country kid blowing shit up and lifting Jeeps and everything else. So, I just kind of kept to myself and stole traffic cones.
Stole traffic cones. You stole traffic cones. Okay.
And parked them in front of my house. That's what I did.
Nice. When did you become aware of the situation that you were living in and realizing that, okay, this is probably not normal?
I was 10.
You were 10 when you finally kind of became aware of all that? How did that happen?
My parents had tied one on. They were drunk. It was a house party. Uh-huh. And my mom had become so intoxicated that I had to help change her pants because she urinated.
Huh.
And I said to my brother at the time, I said, don't let me end up like mom.
And that's when it kind of hit you, like, this childhood ain't fucking normal.
Yeah, it ain't fucking normal.
This is... What did you do? I mean, it's hard for me to ask because my childhood and what I went through is completely different from yours. But, we all have certain stories and stuff that...
But you are free to ask.
Right. And I will. But it's hard for me to really realize what the questions were, right? Because if I went through a similar situation, I can be like, oh, I can ask her this, or how did she deal with this? Because I went through a similar situation. I know I had to go through it, so let me ask her about this situation. I never went through something like that. If you want to know, ask. It's another human's perspective. Well, and what I'm saying is I don't really know the questions to ask, right? Because our situations are different.
Is that a first?
No, it's not a first. It's not a first. I have plenty of questions. Come on. It's just,
you do run a podcast.
Yeah, it's just that I want to ask questions that are relevant and not just to fill time. And It's hard. I'm kind of categorizing them in my brain as we talk. You didn't know what we were going to be talking about. You didn't know what questions I was going to be asking you.
Nope.
I'm just like you. I didn't know what we were going to be talking about. I didn't know the questions I was going to be asking you. And I don't know if you're going to ask me any questions. So, this is completely off the cuff. I guess what I'm trying to say is when you're hearing stories like this, right? You hear stories of somebody that went through or survived or conquered or just, again, whatever through their childhood, especially something as tumultuous as that one, and I've had guests on the podcast that had some really fucked up childhood stories. And these are people that made it through those stories and became military personnel, became cops, became firefighters. And you're just like, wow, you went through all this. You conquered all of this stuff. And then when you became a firefighter or a civil service member or military, and now you're having to deal with this stuff, wow. I don't think I don't think we realize how strong we are from our childhood and what we went through, right? We separate the two for some reason. We don't realize how strong we are and the capability that we have to work through those things because of our childhood and what we had to learn to deal with when we were kids. At the same time, I completely understand that you dealt with it with a child's mind, right? You survived with a child's mind. Can't really do that when you're 20, 30 years old. However, it's crazy to think that kids have the most innocent, pure, straight to the fact kind of thinking. And when you think about mental health stuff and how to work through it, and you go talk to a therapist, it's like, well, let's break it down. Break it down to what a child would understand it as. This is what happened. This is how I feel about it. And that's it. As adults, we're like, I don't know why I feel so bad about this. I hate the fact that I feel bad about this. And as a kid, it's like, I'm mad because you did this. And that makes me sad. And that is it.
And not as adults.
As adults, it's like, you did that, and that made me mad, and I am sad, and I don't know why, and I hate the fact that I am sad because you did something, and blah, 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 and there's all these excuses and everything else, when really, we should just stop. I'm sad, and let me evaluate it.
Years of therapy have taught me that.
Yeah, a lot of research and therapy has taught me that as well.
Yeah, years of therapy.
Moving forward, when did you were in high school, you were kind of a bit of a jock. You sucked at math, went to college. When did you start kind of pulling away from the whole parents aspect? It didn't sound like you were too close with a lot of your siblings, except for your younger sister, which blows my mind because I'm thinking, well, if you have 6 other siblings that are experiencing and going through a similar situation you're going through, obviously the dynamic's different. They have different moms, different dads and stuff like that, so they can leave, come and go. You're the one that's there dealing with that issue. For me, you would think like, okay, these siblings they're gonna lean on one of each other, right? One in each other. They're gonna lean on each other. That's all I should have said. Yeah. They're gonna lean on each other to help support themselves going through whatever situation that they're going through. Doesn't sound like a whole lot of that happened for you. However,
no, it was my younger sister and my older sister, just the girls.
Just the girls. Well, and thank God for your younger sister's biological father because he actually helped out by taking you in.
That's our dad. My younger sister is
so
my only biological sister.
It was your older sister. Okay.
Sister. Yeah.
I think it's cool when, say, a parent has a child with somebody, and then that other somebody has another child without that parent, but they're still take that child in, take care of him because he knows or she knows that that's the sibling of my child.
Yeah, something's fucked up.
Right.
Is what it was.
But they're still willing to take you in and take care of you. I mean, that's a huge thing. I mean, this is a lot about that person and what they're willing to do.
I mean, he's apparently growing up, he sucked as a dad. But as my sister got older, he kind of realized the situation and got his shit together. So proud of him.
That is. That's a huge thing. I mean, that's a really good thing, especially when we get older and we can recognize that.
My older sister is actually a United States Marine.
Oh, hell yeah.
8 years in service, 3 tours. Like, she did her time.
Sweet. What's her favorite color crayon?
I don't know. That's a good question. I am assuming the mac and cheese one.
The mac and cheese crayon. Ew. That's an ugly color. Have you seen that color? Though. I know it exists, but it's an ugly color. Like that mustard color looks like baby diarrhea color.
It looks like baby shit.
Yeah, it does. It looks like baby shit. Anyway, after high school, you said you went to college. What was it exactly that you went to college for?
I was going to school for nursing.
So you were
already a medic.
Okay. When did you decide to? I guess that's where I was going. When did you decide to actually go through the whole medic stuff? Like, you're going through all this stuff in your childhood. It doesn't sound like there's any real first responder realm in your childhood at all. So how did that?
I was the kid who called 911 on my mom when she collapsed.
Right.
And she told me to let her die.
Right.
And one of the firefighters at the time, we were discussing because I was going to go military.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to go Air Force. Scored my ASVAB, and my mom motherfucked my recruiter off our porch.
Really?
Like I didn't have the chance to. Like not because my mom hid common law for me. Like the idea that I could have signed without her consent after it, like because I turned 18 while I was still in high school. I could have signed without her consent. I'd be a doctor by now, but I wouldn't be the person that I am now.
Right.
So he did military and then went medic after he got out. And I was talking to him after we got my mom back, everything else. I was talking to him and I was like, what do I do? So, because I was like, that was natural. It was natural. I literally brought her back. She woke up, motherfucked me for not letting her die. And that was the end of it. And I spoke with the guy who was on scene and I said, what the fuck do I do? How do I get into this? So I found out, he goes, well, if you can't go military or, things are preventing you, etc., do this instead. And he recommended me to my medic program after that.
I find it interesting because, you helped your mother, you helped get her back, you did everything right, and she berated you, trying to make you feel bad for doing the right thing, for saving her life.
Yep, I was still the asshole.
Right. And as a kid, well, if my
16.
mother or my father or anybody for that matter starts berating me and making me feel belittled because I saved their lives, the last thing I would think is maybe I should do this as a profession. I'm going to get motherfucked every single time I've saved someone's life and be hated on. The last thing I'm going to think is, let me do this as a profession. I like being told fuck you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's interesting to hear how you're like, yeah, my mom said, fuck you. I hate you. Why the fuck did you help me? And then you're like, this sounds like it's going to be a great job for me. Hey, bud, what do I got to do? Like it doesn't make logically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
No,
unless you actually enjoyed pissing off your mom, in which case then it does make sense. It's like, hey, if I can piss off people like my mom all the time, sign me up. There's that too.
I mean, unlocks degradation kink.
Let me write that down. Degradation kink. Got it. You guys want to get Nova to like you, just degrade her.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, you ain't shit. I'll be like, but please, I am.
But please, no, I am a piece of shit. Oh my God. Yeah. So walk me through that. Like, I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
here you are. You're trying to save your mother. You save her. Or at least you help save her. And now she's motherfucking you, hating you for saving her life. And then all of a sudden you decide, you know what? I want to do this. On scene.
The idea was that the leap to action.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't hesitate. I didn't hesitate one bit. I just did it. And I didn't see her as my mother at that point at all.
She was a patient.
She was a patient. Mm-hmm. I didn't see her as my mom is shitting the bed in front of me. I saw somebody dying in front of me. And that's how I saw it at 16. And I was like, ah, shit. I'm going to be a medic. It's literally what happened.
So you didn't let the after effects of your actions.
No.
It was more the action itself. Is what got you thinking. It wasn't
like after I looked at her and I was like, you're alive because of me. You can eat a bag of dicks. I literally told her that at 16. You can fuck right off. I was like, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me.
Good.
And that's what I told her. I was like, you'd be dead.
I just find it fascinating because, I hear that story. A lot of people would not go, yeah, that's what I want to do now after my mom just fucking told me to fuck off and hates me for saving her life.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that it was the action that you're like, wow, I just did this. I jumped into action. It felt good. I didn't think about it. It was natural. Maybe I should be doing this.
Yeah,
and
that's literally it.
You didn't allow the after effects of your actions to dictate it. It was the actual action, which is, it's pretty cool that you were able to break it down that way, because I mean we get that all the time in first responder room, you know, just as well as I do. Especially OD patients. You slam that Narcan and they are pissed off at you that you killed their high, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. You are blue from the neck up. You're about to have a PEA and die.
Yeah. You're about to be a Smurf.
Yeah, exactly. Sure. And
like,
so
you can fuck off. Yeah,
right.
Fuck off. You're just lucky you didn't die today. But here's the thing on that mentality. I have no shame with addicts. I have no shame with them, because every time we break, this is the other side of the coin with that. Like, doesn't matter how much Narcan we slam. It doesn't matter how much Narcan I shove up your nose or in an IV. It doesn't matter. Every chance they wake up is a chance for them to get their shit together.
Exactly.
I refuse to, like, obviously there's some patients that just don't want to be saved. I get that. But maybe they do. And if we don't push the Narcan, that's a chance they don't have.
Right. Well, it's unethical not to treat a patient with what they should be treated with anyway. I don't judge anybody. And that's the weird thing about the job that we do. You know, sometimes we deal with the shittiest of the shittiest people on earth, day in and day out. And
we don't get to pick the emergency either.
We don't get to pick the emergency. We don't get to pick who it is we're actually helping. They can be the worst person on the world. When they need us to come help, we go and help. In hopes that if we get them back, they're going to change their life. Maybe they saw God for that split second, or they saw the devil and realized, I don't want that. And then they change their life. That's what we hope. Not necessarily always the truth, as we know. No. But we break it down to a human level, right? We don't get to pick and choose. And that's the whole point of what we do.
Yeah, we don't discriminate.
We don't discriminate.
Healthcare.
If you're a human being, you're going to get treated just like any other human being. Doesn't matter if you're the Dalai Lama or if you're, Saddam Hussein. You're going to get treated.
Yeah, you're going to get treated. It doesn't matter.
Once you're better, then,
fix your shit.
Fix your shit. Or you'll be judged on who you are. But we're going to treat you just the same. So you help your mom, you talk to this firefighter, to this medic, and he kind of puts you in and he helps you out, and he refers you to the medic program, the college that you went to. So you went to the college to get the training prior to graduating high school.
Yes. I took a VOTEC. I graduated. I had enough credits to do a fuck off senior year, where I would show up for a couple hours and then go home. And my mom said, you're not allowed to have that much free time during the day, because I had 2 jobs at the time. I was working 2 jobs because I had every intent of leaving. I left home at 17.
At 17?
I was gone.
Well, you know what? That's when I left home too. But I graduated at 17. So.
No, I graduated at 18 and I still left home at 17. I fucked off. My mom said I wasn't allowed to have that much free time. You're going to get into a vocational class, and EMS was one of them. So I did all my clinical hours as a 17-year-old because I had my parents' permission.
That's awesome.
So I was on an ambulance by the time I graduated high school. I was on an ambulance seeing all this bullshit while I was still in high school.
I have a feeling you probably had a stronger mind to deal with it than most high schoolers.
I appreciate that. I probably did, but I don't know, because I really didn't associate with people in high school. I got made fun of a lot. That's probably why you had more of a better coping mechanism, because you're able to separate empathy and sympathy. Mm-hmm. There's a quote that I heard on TikTok, and it when I heard it, I was just like, that is so fucking true. People in EMS, people are first responders, people that are in the military, we're selective psychopaths. Yeah. I'm going to stop you right here. I'm going to go grab a beer.
That's cool.
Okay. I can still hear you.
Oh, I know you can still hear me. So we can technically still talk.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason being, she said, is being the selective psychopath is that we are able to turn on and off our empathy on the drop of a tone. Right?
Oh, yeah. And without a doubt.
So,
I can't even deny that.
Now, granted, when you hear psychopath, people, they turn off their empathy to do bad things. We turn off our empathy to do the job, Because if we had
Yeah.
empathy every time we rolled up on a scene that looked horrible, we wouldn't be able to do a job.
We'd be fucked.
Right. We'd be fucked.
We'd be fucked.
But it sounds like you were able to do that at a pretty young age, being
Yeah.
a little bit of a loner and doing your own thing. Why do you think you were a loner later on in high school?
Because I was an asshole.
So you think it was just other people avoiding you and not you necessarily trying to avoid other people?
No, because I wanted friends in high school. I did
Mhm.
want friends in high school, but the shit they were so concerned about, like, that, like, ruffled their feathers or, like, shit in their wheaties, I didn't care about.
Like, why'd that guy hold her hand and not this girl's?
Yeah, I don't care. I didn't care about the shit that people were so concerned about in high school. Like, I didn't care. I was like, I literally watched somebody throw up their last lung. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I just did my own thing. I posted something on Facebook a while back. Like, if I died tomorrow, what was the one thing I taught you? And people are like, it's how to shake a hand.
You never shook my hand.
I'd break your wrist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it wasn't anything they've ever learned from me wasn't about drama. It wasn't about shit that they were concerned about. And everybody who was ever mean to me in high school now has 3 children and is going to nursing school. If that makes sense. Like,
right. They're doing what you were already doing.
Yeah.
Minus the kids. Minus the kids part.
No kids. And that's what it was. Like, the shit they were so concerned about, like, didn't bother me. I was in high school watching people die.
Mm-hmm.
Your priorities are fucked up. And I didn't care. Like, I just didn't care about the who's who and the who's what of high school. Like, I didn't give a shit. So that made me kind of an asshole. Like, oh, she doesn't care. She doesn't give a shit. She's not paying attention to us. Well, no, because it doesn't matter.
Your caring was on different things, not things that you thought were marginal or trivial. So your care was just put on a larger scale because of what you were doing and the training you were getting and everything else.
Yeah.
When you were going through, did you ever share any of these stories with other kids in high school? I mean, you're exposed to some pretty crazy stuff as a high schooler, and you're going back to school for high school, and you never shared any of the stories and stuff. I'm surprised you didn't share some of these stories in high school, because a lot of high school kids and everything else, here's a chance to tell you, hey, you'll never guess what I saw. You'll never guess what I did. Especially knowing that you're doing something that's above and beyond what normal high schoolers are doing at that time.
To be fair, what I was doing was a route of survival. I wasn't thinking about anybody else.
Okay.
I was trying to get out of my house.
And so it was almost like you were dead focused. Nothing else mattered.
Yeah, nothing else mattered. No. I was trying to get the fuck out of my house. I didn't care about talking to people. I didn't care about anything else. I was trying not to die.
Okay. During this time that you're getting into the EMS, EMT stuff, you said that you tried to get into the military, but you ended up having a seizure.
I did.
Was this after high school?
This was during.
You did it during high school as well. So did you try the military thing before you found the EMS?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was trying to go for my doctorate.
Okay, because see,
in the military would have paid for it.
Right. The timeline.
I'll take a free doctorate. Thanks.
The timeline was throwing me off a little bit. It was just like, oh, so you were an EMT, you went to go try for military. Why would you try to go for military if you're already an EMT? But we hear that story all the time. I just wanted to know what was your reasoning, but that's not what happened.
I dropped during the mile run.
Right. You ended up having a seizure due to a TBI you got when you were, 6 months old, you said?
6 weeks.
6 weeks old.
I still remember his name. I still remember my recruiter's name to this day.
When you failed that, when you are trying to do this thing because you have this plan, and being 17 years old, we tend to sensationalize failure when we're kids. We tend to make it mean that we are a failure.
I didn't feel that. I can't pick what my parents did.
Right.
This was my mentality back when I was 17. I was dropped. I was the kid who was dropped. Like, oh, were you dropped on your head? Actually, yeah, motherfucker, I was. So, that caused my injury. Went to MEPS, and I passed with an 87 on my ASVAB. The pull-ups, whatever, I had to do 3. I fucking struggled, by the way. I did it, but I passed that, and then they did the mile run, and I was hauling ass. I was fine, but I dropped mid-run, unsolicited, out of fucking nowhere. After all of that, I didn't really have, I feel like a failure moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can't pick my injury. I didn't choose that for myself.
Right.
I just knew that it was a potential byproduct, and that's when it decided to show up.
Were you upset with your parents because of, you obviously had no choice in that injury, or when I say choice in the injury, I'm not saying, oh, I'm going to choose to hurt myself this way. I mean, you did not get to decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to go skydiving, and you understood the risk. You were a child. You were reliant upon somebody else, and they're the ones that caused the injury.
But what is mad getting me? What is mad? It's 17 when it happened. Yeah.
I'm not saying would you? I'm asking at the time. What were you? No. Now looking back, it's easy to say, yeah, why? Getting mad would do nothing. But at the time, you're like, well, fuck. No, if I didn't have this injury, I probably would have been able to finish this.
No, I had the same mentality back when I was 17. I don't get to pick how my parents fucked up when I was little. I don't get to pick that. And that's what I'm saying. When I'm stress-free, that's what I mean. I've been like this since I was about 17, because you know what? It could always be worse. I could be a fucking Terry Schiavo right now.
You could be.
I could. And I'm not. Mm-hmm. And I've had that mentality from a very young age. Now, I wasn't mad, because what's mad gonna get me? Mm-hmm. It's not gonna get me anywhere. It's not gonna do me anything. It's not gonna fix the fact that I have a fucking hole in my head. It's not gonna do anything. I didn't get to pick that my symptoms showed up during a fucking mile run and a PT test. Right. I didn't get to pick that. When I dropped and things were taken care of, I couldn't, because everybody fucking lives on their ASVAB waiver. They already fucking lied.
Right.
ADHD, fucking head injuries, all this shit, but this was witness. Mm-hmm. So, I couldn't lie. Shit. So, based on a survival mentality, because I was in full-blown survival mode, it's now what? And now what became becoming a medic.
Yeah, but it took your mother going through that situation for you to have I'm going to become a medic now. So the now what tends to scare a lot of people.
The now what came after I failed MEPS for season.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is when you have that moment when you're like, well, shit, that didn't work out. What do I do now? People anxiety starts to set in, right? How the hell am I going to get out of my house now? How the hell am I going to, what am I going to do now? What's the plan here?
Yeah, but here's the thing. My mom dropped when I was 16. I went to MEPS when I was 18, everything else. The medic that encouraged me with the college program was 2 years prior.
Okay.
And I listened, I just, tucked it in the back, if that makes sense. I tucked it in the back. That was my backup plan, because I wanted to go military, seized, and then I was like, shit. But then I remembered, oh fuck, there's a medic program, I can do that. I don't have a stress bone in my body that I can't go through.
Okay. It's interesting it's interesting to hear that kind of a mentality at such a young age. I know when I was that age, I was still battling with what happened to me when I was 7 years old, and I allowed it to control pretty much how I felt about life, how I treated other people in my life, and everything else.
For me, it was either that or dead. For me, it was either survive or die.
Well, and that's understandable. For me, what I was trying to do was trying to prove to myself that I wasn't what happened to me. Right? I wasn't what happened to me. And
how hard? I have a question for you. How hard did you work for that?
How hard did I work for
Proving yourself.
proving that I wasn't what happened to me?
Yeah.
Well, growing up, I did it very toxic. Like, instead of dealing with what happened, I tried to make sure I never felt that way again. And by doing that, I ruined a lot of relationships. I ruined a lot of friendships. I treated people pretty horribly. I treated myself pretty horribly. All for the sake of not allowing what happened to me be the thing that I was. And so, like, in a relationship, if I ever felt like it was starting to go downhill, I would intentionally
self-sabotage.
Yes, I would intentionally be the asshole. That way, they would break up with me, but I knew I was the reason why they broke up with me because I made it happen. Like, you're still going to look like the asshole for breaking up with me, but I know I was the one that was the asshole. Yeah. Right? And that's the way I did it. And it's very toxic. It's not healthy at all.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah. And, but that's how I grew up because, what happened to me was, I was abducted, molested by a male and a female, and then tossed off to the side of the road. Used like I wasn't abandoned. I was used and disposed of. And I never wanted to feel that way again. And so whenever I felt like somebody was going to leave, I was like, oh no, you're not going to fucking dispose me. You're not going to throw me out of that car. And so my defense was, I'm going to self-sabotage this. That way I know I was technically in control, but not really in control.
No. So, my biggest thing was keeping everybody away.
Why do you think you did that?
I can only rely on myself.
Do you think that's true now?
Yeah.
I mean, it is true, but yeah, everybody can use a little bit of help every now and then.
I don't refuse help, but I don't ask for it either. Nobody in myself has ever let me down. I don't let myself down. Other people do.
How many yourselves do you have, Nova?
Just one.
That's good, because you're like, nobody within myself has let me down. Like, oh Jesus, how many are there?
Don't judge my 6 personalities up here. You leave me you leave me alone about those things.
Yeah, and again, that's another interesting comment because a lot of people feel like they let themselves down all the time.
No,
they feel like they made a bad decision, therefore they let themselves down, or something bad happened in their life, therefore, and they don't know how to deal with it, therefore they're letting themselves down. And
nope, my problems are my own.
And they are your own, but having the problems be your own feels like, well, why the fuck do I even have the problems to begin with? Am I letting myself down by even allowing myself to have the problem? Does that make sense? And
I don't feel like it's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you elect to suffer or don't. You can pick that for yourself if the only thing you're relying on is yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I feel about it. And that's why, I nope a lot of shit. Nope, all the time. Mm-hmm. And people are like, how do you do that? I'm like, because I don't give a shit.
You learn to not care about other people's feelings towards you at a very young age.
Yeah.
And not allow other people's opinions of you to define you in any way, shape, or form.
No, because when I did care, it got me nowhere.
So there was a point in time where you did care.
Yeah, I mean, I literally cut my dad off a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
Don't talk to him at all. The last message I said to him, verbatim, was imagine being with the human equivalent of a hangover just for the sake of not being alone to further alienate your children. I love you, Dad, but I can't do this. It doesn't matter what the fuck I say to him. I'm not going to be the little girl in the corner begging for the dad who perpetually abused me as a child. I'm fucking done. I've come too far. I've acquired too much for him to be like, must be nice. You're not going to must be nice guilt me into feeling bad for you because you didn't. Eat a dick. Eat a dick.
I want to move forward in the conversation a little bit. We went through a little bit of your childhood. Pretty fucking tumultuous stuff. Definitely not a conventional childhood. That's for damn sure.
No.
I don't think a lot of us would ever say we had a conventional childhood. Even people that we believe have conventional childhoods would probably tell you, my childhood's not conventional. Are you kidding me? Have you seen these people? Like, oh, somebody always has a story, right? And it's not a dick measuring contest. It's just, it's all different. Everybody deals with that kind of stuff differently, and what happens to them, they deal with it differently.
We don't get to pick our trauma.
Right.
Trauma.
In my opinion, you had it wasn't normal, or what you would consider a normal childhood. It wasn't.
I would happily call it unhealthy.
Yeah, toxic, unhealthy. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
But
Daddy issues, bitch, I'm swimming in them. Not even gonna lie, I'm fucking swimming in them shits.
I want to be careful commenting on the whole daddy issues thing, because there's a whole joke about girls and daddy issues and how good they are in bed and stuff like that. Anyway,
I'm not gonna give out my secrets, but I've never heard complaints.
Okay. Moving forward. So we're gonna jump into your career a little bit now.
Sure.
The reason why you started following What Makes Us Fire and supporting What Makes Us Fire is because you understood what we were trying to do for civil service members and first responders, and of course you being one of them. And you have a 12-year. You've been in 12 years now, or you were 12 years, and obviously you saw a lot of stuff. You've dealt with a lot of things. Now you're the first person I've talked to whose primary job was medic. I've had firefighters, I've had cops, I've had nurse, I've had other people like that on the podcast, but you're the first one that their primary job is a medic. And I think of the three main first responders, let me rephrase, of the four main first responders, dispatch, PD, fire, and EMS, I think EMS and dispatch are probably neck and neck when it comes to the recognition that they deserve. And I don't know why it is. Firefighters and police tend to get a lot of the clout, a lot of the heroism, a lot of the bullshit that comes along with all of this stuff too. And EMS, EMTs, medics, they're kind of the silent ones in the background that actually do a lot of the work and don't get any type of recognition, good or bad. They don't really get a whole lot of any type of recognition. I think that needs to change, but knowing that that's the kind of work you're in and kind of dealing with that kind of stuff. Now, I was an EMT prior to before I was a firefighter. That's why I can kind of speak to this and speak on it a little bit. Is firefighters got all the glory whenever somebody got saved. Sure, they pulled them out of the fire, but the EMTs kept that person alive. The EMTs got them to the hospital alive so they can stay alive. That car wreck, sure, the firefighters got them out, but it was the EMTs that were treating the injuries. It was the EMTs that stopped the bleeding. It was the EMTs that gave the drugs to save that person's life. Yep. And you never hear those stories. You hear that the firefighters got them out, the cops were able to save this person, this and that. You never hear about the EMTs that treated the person that was shot, treated the cop that was shot. You don't hear those stories. And it sucks because I truly believe that medics, EMTs, need to start getting a little bit more recognition within the first responder realm, because they are a huge, huge part of the chain of treatment that goes into having a 911 service call. As a matter of fact, I think it was 94% of all 911 calls are medical calls.
Yes.
And trauma related calls. Like, firefighters, if they're not medically trained,
they don't call for a firefighter. They call for send an ambulance.
Send an ambulance. Need ambulance.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that we don't hear more stories and more recognition of our medics. And I was kind of wanting to ask you, how does that make you feel about it? Now, I have a feeling you're going to say, I don't give a shit. I just do my job because I love my job. And I get that. However,
get out of my head.
however, you'd be lying if you said that it didn't feel good to get recognition for a job well done every now and then.
It would have been nice.
Right.
It would be nice. I won't deny that. But I know at the end of the day what I did.
Right. And for all first responders, we will say it. We don't do it for the recognition. We don't.
No.
And
I know at the end of the day what I did.
But for me, I think it's easier for a firefighter or for a cop to say that because they're always getting recognition, right?
Yeah.
Always getting recognition.
Yeah.
Medics and EMTs never get the recognition.
Nope.
Never.
Or the pay.
Or the pay. I don't know. Medics tend to make more than firefighters.
It's hit or miss depending on what kind of firehouse you run out of. If you run out of fire medic and you can pick and choose the side, but the same firehouse, you're going to make less.
Yes, that's true.
It just depends on what kind of municipality you're running out of.
Mm-hmm.
As far as recognition goes, a high five would be nice once in a while.
Right. Just pat on the back. Hey, good job. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had two. I've had 2 in 12 years.
Yeah, you don't need the news story. You don't need the you don't need the recognition from the state. You don't need any shit like that.
No.
It's just hey, good job. Wait to be professional at your job and please continue doing what you're doing.
Yeah, just once in a while.
In a while would be nice. I mean, I think that would help morale. It would help morale. And I think that when the morale is, so there's a lot of theories as to why EMS doesn't get a whole lot of recognition. Now, it's probably because of how EMS is run. If they are not part of the fire department, the medic is not part of the fire department. They're either a transport service or they're a contract service with the city.
Yeah, whatever.
Private and stuff like that. And so they're not held to the same standards as a firefighter or police department. And those standards are pretty paramilitary. Now, they'll say they have a lieutenant and that they have a shift leader or shift, they say all that stuff and that's all well and good. But when you go and you actually go to the EMS quarters or the EMS house, nobody gives a shit. Everybody's just lounging around. There's no, it's my experience. I got to make sure I speak on my experience and not in general, but it's my experience that EMS only facilities, companies, whatever you want to call it, tend to be less structured than a firehouse or a police department or a military.
Yeah.
So they kind of get a bad rap for being, for a lack of a better term, crybabies, bitchers, whiners, lazy, stuff like that. They get this bad reputation. And I don't think it's necessarily true. Now, are there people within the realm of EMS that perpetuate that and perpetuate the stigma? Yeah, that's why it's there.
Yeah.
But I think
stereotypes exist for a reason. Right.
But I think that the majority of people that actually are doing the job want more structure. Like they got into it thinking there was going to be more structure, and then when they get into it and realize it's a fucking shit show, it's an animal house, and it going back to morale, it kind of kills the whole idea of even wanting to stay as a medic, right? So,
that's why I walked away.
So you did walk away. When did you walk away, if you don't mind me asking?
I went ER for 3 years. I stepped off the bus in 2016. I went ER.
So you were a tech? You were a tech? ER? I did that too for about a year or two.
I got sick of lifting fat people out of houses at 115 pounds. And cutting people out of their fucking sliding doorways. Like, I was done. Like, I can't. I have 4 herniated discs. Like, I can't feel my left ass cheek. Like, I was just done.
Mm-hmm. You can't feel your left ass cheek. Well, that can be looked at as a positive depending on the...
Only if you're left-handed.
What if they're ambidextrous?
Knock yourself out, I guess.
So you left about 6 years ago now. 6 years ago now, 2022. So Was that the only reason of just being tired of dealing with the bullshit calls? Was that the only reason, or was there other stuff?
My back injury was a big part of it. Getting, like, you have to understand, I'm 5 foot tall, 115 pounds.
Yeah, you're a small little thing.
A bariatric stretcher or a hydro stretcher weighs as much as I do without anybody on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm choosing my life over that. I'm not going to end up in a wheelchair at 50. I refuse.
Right. Well, they have automatic stretchers now where you hit a button.
Yeah, the power stretcher?
Yeah,
I'm fully aware. But you still have to get that motherfucker out of the house.
Yeah, there's still that. You still have to still have to roll them out of the house, still get them onto the stretcher and everything else.
Yep. And I'm fucking done. Like, I'm tired.
Of what though exactly? I guess that's what is it the bullshit calls that you're tired of it?
I don't like the bullshit.
Is it the stuff that you're seeing? Is it the literally having to wade through shit and smell the nastiness of some of these homes that we go into?
Oh my god, the nastiness is a different story. I have fly lady stories, all of it. There was a woman we took out of the house one time on the 3rd floor, and I was like, if you don't get this woman to the bottom floor that is absolutely spotless, if this house goes up in flames, we're leaving her up there. Because we can't get to her because this staircase is bullshit.
Ew.
I was like, we're not going to get her. She's going to burn alive. Bring her downstairs. But when I tell you, I think I just got annoyed. We had a girl who was having, I don't have anything against anxiety attacks or panics or whatever, but like her boyfriend was causing problems. It was a PD scene, everything else. I looked at her and I was like, oh look, spider. Because she couldn't walk to the, airway breathing, can you walk to the ambulance?
Okay.
This was in Chicago. I said, oh, look, spider. She said she couldn't walk. Told her there was a spider next to her. This woman stood up and ran away.
Her fight or flight took over.
Yeah, so if you can't fight or flight to a cot, come on, man. Like,
it's the same thing when we go on scene with people that say they can't speak English. I'll be like, they're like, no sabes, no sabes. I'm like, okay. And then I'll look at my partner. It's like, hey, you see that $20 bill behind them? And then you'll see the patient go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. When I say usually is no hablo factardo.
Yeah. Like, they're afraid they're going to get in trouble. Like, look, we are not the cops. We're not going to get you in trouble. We're here to help you. Let us know if you did anything.
My dad overdosed mid-haircut with my now aunt who's passed away this last February. She was a beautician. And he passed out in the chair. And he was blown out on fucking Vicodin, blown out on Vinax. Like, remember Vinax? Like, it was he was blown out on Vinax and passed out. And I called EMS, and my mom was like, don't tell him anything. I was like, well, if they give him something and kill him, they're no longer liable. So you need to tell him what the fuck he was taking.
Yes.
I was 17.
And you understood that.
Yeah, I was like, you need to tell them. They're not the cops. They're not here to arrest you. They're just here to fucking...
Make sure you don't die.
Yeah, make sure you don't die. And
that's the main job of EMS, everybody. We don't...
Yeah, make sure we don't die.
If you're listening and you're not a first responder and you partake in recreational drug use, we don't give a shit.
Yeah,
but we need to know... We need to know so we don't give you the medication that's going to counteract with the shit you're taking and make you worse.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, how many people are listening right now?
Huh?
How many are we? We're just recording, aren't we?
Yeah, we're just recording. What, you thought we were live?
Okay. Shit, I don't know. Maybe.
No, I always say for everybody that's listening, like when they listen to the episode.
Oh, okay. I get it now. But yeah, no, we're not the fucking cops. We don't care. Just tell me what you took. I don't give a fuck. I'm not here to arrest you. I don't have that power. Just tell me what the fuck you took so I can render the appropriate medication.
Right.
It's not that fucking hard.
Right. So, I want to get back to the original question because we scrolled off on that. I should have known better.
I am a squirrel.
No, you're a feral chicken. And we're going to get into all that later on. But you said you got out because you were tired of it. And I'm trying to understand what exactly it was that you were tired of. Now, I asked you if it was kind of like the bullshit calls and stuff, the stub toe at 3 a.m. And you're like, no. I was like, okay, I understand your back issue definitely played a huge part into making that decision, but you also stated that it was also because you were tired of it. What is the it?
There's a better way to make money. And it's not breaking my back for ungrateful human beings. Because, quite frankly, 2020 and 2021 showed its ass when it comes to entitled patients. And I'm not talking like the typical dickhead that we deal with who's just mad that he's alive. Like, I'm not talking about that. No. I'm talking about just the level of entitlement, the blatant disrespect of somebody who's trying to take care of you. And it's perpetuated on top of everything else, the political issues, blah, blah, blah. Like, could you imagine me as an unvaccinated human?
But you left in 2016.
Okay.
So you didn't have to deal with that.
I went to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, not only that, where I was living, there was only one private company at the time.
Okay.
And I wasn't about to go municipality to go through a different state fire department academy at 29 years old. Like, I'm not fucking doing it. I've been through one. I'm not doing it again. Did the ER for a while. COVID popped. I was still in the ER. Had COVID once, just got over it again. And during that entirety with COVID, I couldn't, the level of disrespect from humans, like, I couldn't fucking do it anymore. Like, I'm just done. There's a better way of making money through passive income, everything else. And now I work from home. I will refuse to be blatantly disrespected that way again. Absolutely not. I understand that you are a patient. I understand that you were sick. I understand that you feel like shit. But if you're going to literally just treat me like shit because you have the option to, fuck off.
So it was the people that we were having to deal with that you were kind of just tired of. It was.
I'm just tired of it. You're like, people who call you called me for help.
Right.
You called me for help, and you're being a dick to me.
Isn't that crazy how much respect from people we get from around the world for the jobs that we do? And usually it's because they never actually had to use us, right? And then the level
the minute they do.
Yeah.
The minute they do.
The more we get more disrespect from people that we actually go and help than we do people that have never actually had to call us and get the help.
The people that respect us have never had to call us.
Right. And it's weird. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of patients and plenty of people that have called and are very thankful and they respect us for what we're doing and we go out there. But you got to remember the majority of the calls that we go to and the majority of people that we treat are, I mean, when I say they're the scum of the earth, they're the scum of the earth.
Yeah, I agree.
And when we helping these people, a lot of the times they don't even want us there. A lot of the times they're not even the ones that called. It's usually somebody else saw them on the side of the road or
it was like, my family member's sick.
Yeah, exactly. My family member's sick or this person's,
Why are you here? Well,
yeah, exactly.
You're vomiting and shitting out of your ass with low blood pressure. Like, that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here because you almost died. And somebody cared enough to call us to make sure you didn't. And they get mad at us for showing up. And it's like, okay, sorry for wanting to help.
I was tired.
Right.
I was tired. I was tired of wanting to help. And now I help on my own accord. I do a lot of veteran work, as you know. I do a lot of civil service, everything else. Now it's my choice.
Right. Well, throughout your career, as in the medical field, in medic and in the ER, did any of that part of the job at any point in time, did you ever think, wow, this is a little bit more than I signed up for? And that goes for anything, either what you're seeing, obviously it was a little bit more than you signed up for when it came to the disrespect we got from the people we were trying to help. That's why you left. But, you never, people getting into the field, remember, you don't get into this if you're looking for the attaboy and for the thank yous.
You ain't gonna get it.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. You need to realize that you're doing this because you truly want to do this and you want to help. Don't get into this for the attaboys, for the thank yous.
It's not going to happen.
Exactly.
It's not. It won't.
Yeah, it won't happen.
It's not. Captain Save-A-Ho ain't going to get the pat on the back.
No, you ain't. You ain't going to get the pat on the back. That's for damn sure. But was there anything else other than that aspect of the job that you thought, okay, holy shit, I was not prepared for stuff like this?
My first call as a 17-year-old third rider was a GI bleed. I stayed. This dude had shit blood all over his house. First call, I got yanked to the wolves, and I stayed. I was like, oh, shit.
Literally. Oh, you guys have no idea. Like, just her saying, as soon as she said we made a call with a GI bleed, like, literally the smell hit my nose, and I'm nowhere near anybody.
I'm still friends with my FTO from back then on Facebook. Like, hands down, he is still one of my really good friends. Oh my god. Like, and he's watched me grow into the person that I am. I have FTO'd students. Like, I have done it. Like, I have come from a baby EMT to an FTO medic, and this dude is still around. And he's like, dude, I remember that first call of yours.
Oh my god. Just like I said, a GI bleed is...
17 years old was a GI bleed in this dude's house, and blood peppered everywhere, and I mean gelled blood with GI everything. And he's like,
okay, now was it lower GI or upper GI? Because upper GI is so much. Okay, just for everybody that knows, upper GI bleeds when it comes out.
First call as an EMT third rider.
Oh. All right, for everybody that doesn't know what we're talking about, I'm gonna educate you, and since we had to suffer through it, you're gonna go ahead and at least suffer through the explanation. A GI bleed is bleeding through your GI tract. Lower GI bleeds tend to stink a little bit less. The blood is a little bit more fresh because it doesn't go through the digestive tract. When you have an upper GI bleed, say, in the stomach, well, that blood gets digested. And then it comes out of your orifice, and ooh, the smell. Yeah, it comes out looking like coffee grounds.
Huron Valley Ambulance, I will never forget it. Huron Valley Ambulance is a third riding student. GI bleed was my very first call.
Yeah, I guarantee you we lost like literally probably 75% of listeners right now just by hearing that story.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, no, oh my god. So you realize then, holy crap, I'm going to be seeing some really fucked off stuff.
Yeah, that was my first call as a first responder, as a student.
And that's when you realize, like, oh shit, this is probably gonna affect me more than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, and I was 17 at the time.
Throughout your career, do you ever feel like the job was hitting on you?
Yeah.
Mentally, with your mental health.
Yeah, actually, a couple years ago we had a house fire when I was working in the ER.
I just, before you keep going, I want you to know, I'm not asking you to, I know that question. What's the worst call you've ever seen? I'm not going to ask you that question. That's the reason why I worded it the way I did throughout your career.
I'm not telling you about my worst call. My worst call is not this one.
Yeah, so throughout your career, we see a lot of things, we deal with a lot of things that a normal human brain is not meant to process, but we still do the job. So when I ask this question, people think I'm asking, oh, you're asking me about the worst call. No, I'm not. I'm asking you, throughout the career, through everything you've seen.
Yeah, I would say that.
Was there a
point at
my
nightmares,
which...
I have my demons. I have my lack of sleep. I have, your traditional PTSD moments. But, yeah, I would say so.
When that first started, you obviously didn't leave right away.
No, I was about,
what would you
about 22 when it started.
What would you have contributed your choice to continue doing the job, even knowing it was starting to affect you like that?
The contributing factor would be, for every 50 moments of bad, there's always one of good.
And you try to just focus on the good.
Yep.
Okay.
I refused to let all of the bad we see, as you see, as I see. I refused to let every moment of nasty, every motherfuck comment I got, or every, person trying to assault me, etc., not affect the idea that I was there in their time of need. Like, I refused to let that affect me. I chose myself.
But you did say it did affect you.
It does, because you go home at the end of the day and you're like, that motherfucker was mad at me for keeping him alive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shit wears on you, because it's not...
Does that make you question what you're doing?
No, because I wasn't doing anything fucking wrong.
No. I'm talking about, like, does that make you question, like, what you're doing as a career, as your profession? Like, if this is all I'm getting, why do I keep doing this?
No, I didn't question it. Like, I would still love to be on an ambulance, but out here in Vegas, they're assaulting medics at the ERs.
Oh, yeah. No, they're assaulting medics everywhere.
They're assaulting medics at the ERs for treating police officers. They're assaulting medics for treating soldiers. I don't want to do it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I choose my life. Like, I want to be alive. I have
Right.
too many people to piss off. I have too many people to annoy. I have too many people to make laugh. Like,
so,
I choose me.
Okay, so I guess my question is, because you said that you were able to not allow it to stop you from doing the job, but it did affect you. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, how did it affect you, and what did you do other than saying I'm not going to allow it to affect me? What was your mentality to allow you to continue doing the job, even though you knew it was affecting you?
My mentality. You want to see what it was?
Sure.
God
yeah. Well, because you did. God damn it. Well, because you did say it. You did say it did affect you, right? It affected your headspace.
It does. I still have my nightmares. I still have everything else. But I understand now through years of fucking therapy and based on my childhood, it's nothing new. For me, based on how I grew up, that kind of shit is nothing new for me. I'm just here. I'm here to help. That's it. You want to be an asshole? Okay. That's literally it. I am very muted when it comes to my traumas. I harbor my nightmares and my fucking etc. for myself. Like, I don't take that out on anybody else because it's my problem. I don't take it out on other people around me because it's my problem. I like, for example, I will, if I'm going through it, I'll be like, hey, I'm going through it. And that's it. Like, I am very black and white about my emotions. There's no, like, I'm a dick and I won't tell you why.
Right.
I have very good communication skills. Thanks, therapy. But as far as that goes, it has affected me. I don't sit with my back towards a door. I don't answer the door without a 9mm. I don't, like, there's certain things that I do habitually, based on that.
Mm-hmm. What, you mentioned this a couple of times already. You said, therapy, thanks therapy, years of therapy. At some point, you realized whatever it was that you were dealing with and the emotions that you were having from the life that you were living, job, past history, all this other stuff. At some point, you realized, I need to get some help here. And what was it? Was it during the time that you were a medic? Did being a medic contribute to that? With your past? Was it just your past? Like, what was it that was the catalyst for you to go, fuck, I need to go get some help?
It was when I was married.
Okay.
My ex tried to tell me that I was crazy, all this other stuff, and I was like, no, I have a lot of demons. And he recommended therapy. Turns out he was psychotic, and my reactions were normal. I went into survival mode, and that's what happened. Like, he literally put me into a state of survival versus trying to fight for a marriage.
Gotcha.
So I went to therapy, and then we did couples counseling and all this other stuff. And you know how therapists can't dictate one way or another. Like, they're not going to pick and choose.
Right.
But you know it's bad that when you're in couples counseling with your husband or wife, and they're like, you need to leave. She said that in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I knew I wasn't fucking crazy.
So you started therapy for your marriage, but it sounds like it evolved into everything else that you were dealing with throughout your life.
It absolutely did, hands down. It ended up being something that was more therapeutic, I guess.
Therapeutic? No.
Oh God, right? Oh God. But so I went to therapy, and now mentally, like, you can't tell me shit that I don't already know. I've fought to be in this mentality where I understand that I have demons, and I understand that I have PTSD, and I understand that I'm a fucking sad panda 90% of the time. I understand that I have no shits to give. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, well, therapy.
So, and that's awesome that you obviously you started the therapy for a completely separate reason other than for your own mental health.
Yeah.
You're doing it for your relationship, which is a part of our lives that we have all the time.
Yeah,
especially
have to fight for that.
We have to fight for that all the time.
Oh, well.
Even more so when you're a first responder, everybody. Just letting you know that the divorce rate is higher, by the way, if you're a first responder or civil service. Yeah. We're first responders, military, and believe it or not, lawyers and doctors. Basically, people whose job it is to help other people tend to have the highest divorce rate. What the fuck? They tend to have the highest mental health disorder rate. They tend to have the highest. Why do you think the divorce rate is so high? I think. So here's the thing. I became a part of that statistic. All right, so I'm going through that. You're part of the statistic, and
he was a cop.
What I think it is as we're growing up and as we're going through the jobs and the life that we have, without therapy and without knowledge, we don't know how to communicate. It comes down to that. It really just comes down to, before we understand everything, we don't know how to communicate. We don't. We're problem solvers. We're problem fixers. As first responders and military, we learn to turn off our empathy. And when you're in a relationship, you need empathy. You need to understand your spouse's emotions. You need to understand them. You should be able to relate to them. You should be able to sympathize with them. But us as first responders, when we do the job for a very long time, we almost retrain our brains, because you can do that. It's called neuroplasticity. It happens. Unfortunately, sometimes it happens and it bleeds over into the personal life. And when it bleeds over into the personal life, we forget that our relationship is not the job, and our job is not our relationship. And so, to make it easier, everything's our job. Right? There's a problem. Let's fix it. Well, that's not it's more than that. What do you mean it's more than that? There's a problem. Let's fucking fix it. Okay, I won't do that anymore. Happy? All right. Well, no, it's more than that. What do you mean it's more than that? I told you I was going to stop doing what you told me to do. Yeah, it's problem fixed.
Be emotionally present. See, here's the other side of the fucking coin. I am a very emotional human being, despite what everybody thinks. I'm a very emotional human being. And my relationships have suffered because, like, I can do the neuroplasticity thing, but I'm also, like, present for my relationship. And there's no guessing games with me. It's, I don't like this. Here's why I don't like this. Here's what you can do to fix it.
Right. You're very straightforward. Where a lot of people are like, but that's not the issue. I want you to understand why I'm feeling this way. You're like, well, it doesn't matter why you're feeling this way. I'm telling you, okay, I get it. You're feeling that way because I did this. I'll stop doing that. Problem solved. And they're like, no, okay, thank you for not doing that. I appreciate you not doing that anymore, but I want you to understand why it made me feel this way. And you're like, why do I need to understand why it made you feel that way? I fixed the problem. Like, that's our mentality, right? Because when we go on the call, It's like, we don't need to understand how the patient's feeling.
It's cool.
Yeah, like, you're bleeding. I stopped it. We got you to the hospital. You're alive. Yay, problem solved. Like, I don't need to know, like, how you felt about it, the why. I don't need to know all that stuff. I just know that here's the problem. I'm going to solve it. Let's go on. Let's go have lunch.
Yeah.
But when you come home, you can't do that. You have to be able to empathize. You have to. It doesn't work that way. Like, when the problem comes up, there is no, let's just fix the problem. It's no, there's understanding that needs to happen. There's communication that needs to happen. There is some level of empathy and understanding.
I didn't learn that until I was almost 25.
I didn't learn that until last year. I got to be 100% honest. It took me a long time to learn that.
But like, these were things that I was expecting of a partner, like that please understand why, but I couldn't give them because I was like, oh, here's the Band-Aid.
Exactly. They're like,
I couldn't understand why because I was married to a cop.
Okay, and that's another thing. First responder being together tend to, I mean, there's very few that I know where it worked out all the time.
Oh no, I went over like a fart in the elevator. I'm not even gonna lie.
Went over like a fart in the elevator.
Did not. Give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
All right, go ahead. Everybody always needs to pee in the middle of the freaking interview. Every single person. Even Jason Patton. I actually recorded him taking a piss because he forgot to take out his headphones. If you guys want to go listen to Jason Patton taking a piss, go listen to his episode on What Makes Us Fire podcast. I don't know what else to say right now. She's peeing. We were talking about the relationship stuff, and you were with first responder marriages tend to not do very, very, very well because we both react to the problems with that same mentality. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a problem, let's fix it, and there's no empathy, there's no sympathy, there's no understanding. It's let's fix the problem. Yeah, let's just fix the problem and move on. And unfortunately, relationships don't work like that. And even for civil service members. Now, it's even more crazy when you're with a first responder, right? When you're with a civil service member and they want you, somebody who's not in it, to sympathize with them. How the fuck? And it took me.
You can expect me to relate.
Exactly. So it took me a while to realize this, okay? And unfortunately so, because I expected my other half to understand how I was feeling and the things that I was going through, even though I knew she had never, even though I knew she couldn't relate, she never would be able to understand and or comprehend the things that I have seen and done. So it's like, well, why don't you understand me? Why can't you understand how this is making me feel this way? Like, obviously I'm feeling this way because I went through this. How can you not understand it? Without thinking logically. Exactly. Because I wasn't thinking logically. I was thinking like, I'm a human being and all human beings feel this way. No, motherfucker, you're a first responder. You've seen some shit and dealt with some shit in a way that most people don't deal with and handle shit. So when you go through something, you handle it differently. You think of it differently. You feel about it differently. That's why it's so hard for a lot of us to fucking find therapists that know how to work with civil service members. It's really hard. Like, you have to find specially trained therapists that understand how civil service members think, because if you don't, they're going to try to treat you like the general public, and you don't think like the general public.
I don't think like that. I don't. My shit's busted.
Exactly. Our shit's, it's busted for a good reason, so we can continue doing the job and help people. It's busted for a good reason, but it's busted in that it's not like most people in the general public.
It's not typical. I don't want to say this without shitting on somebody's Wheaties. It's not your civilian shit. It's not my husband's an asshole and I've never, dealt with a day of inconvenience or dealt with my inconvenience. Like, as a civilian, your inconveniences are like shit. They're flat tire. My husband's an asshole. He cheated on me. Blah, blah, blah. No, let's talk about the fucking nightmares I have. Let's talk about everything else. Let's talk about how I had a shit day at work, but my shit day at work means me coming home covered in blood and glass. Let's talk about that. Oh, we're not going to? Okay, that's a different idea.
Yeah, and it's not saying that ours is worse than yours. It's just saying our
trauma, but our
different level.
Realm.
Yeah, our realm involves different traumas. Yeah. Our realm involves some more significant, what is generally considered, make sure I say that right, what is generally considered significant traumas that we're exposed to than the general public. Now,
I will say that your trauma is not insignificant. I will say that as a neutral standpoint.
Right, it's not insignificant.
Trauma is trauma. Mm-hmm. I will say that. But there is a level of fucked up that exists in the first responder world that civilians cannot relate to.
No, because if you showed them that level of trauma and that level of significance of fucked upness.
Yeah, I don't want to desensitize anybody's trauma here.
Like, yeah, no. And that's what I'm saying. We're not saying that, you know, people in the general public that go through a traumatic experience or that are battling with things that have happened to them, we're not saying that it's anything less than a first responder's trauma. We're saying that there is a level of difference and a level of things that the human brain is just not made to comprehend that we see and we deal with and you don't. It's not saying that yeah, on a borderline data, and it's not saying that it makes our trauma any worse or less. It just, what I'm saying is it makes it different because what we're exposed to and what you're exposed to are two different things. So when she says the level of fucked upness we see is like, whoa, it's because it is like, whoa, compared to the general public. Yeah. Not saying it's better or worse. It's just extremely different. Extremely different.
Your average Becky is not going to see some peckerhead fucking shoved through a fucking front windshield. Like, right. It's not going to happen. It's not. But we go up there and we have to then tell that man's wife that his husband or her husband was ejected because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
Right. Like, and then we have to hear
that same woman could have gone through an SA complaint and everything else, and you know she could have had her trauma. It's just as fucked up. It's just different.
Yes, it's just different. Yeah, we went on a big tangent. We went on relationships. We went on everything, and the reason was I was asking you how you got into therapy, and it started off as marital therapy, but thank God it evolved into helping you move forward with how you think and how you deal with everything, and that's a huge thing.
I'll tell you what, I was told, this is what I'm going to end this on, as far as this topic. I was told the way I view the world is flawed.
Yeah, we get that a lot from our spouses, especially when I was
told the way that, because I'm neutral, I don't give a shit. You know this, you know me in person. I was told for a long time the way I view the world is wrong, and I said no, it's just different.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what happens, just different. Yeah, I get told, and that was something that I was being told a lot too. There was a level of truthfulness to that because I was looking through the lens of depression at the time that I wasn't aware of.
Well, I still have depression. That's not going anywhere.
So, but I was looking at it through the lens of depression, like all the time. So there was a level of truthfulness, but the only level of truthfulness is that I wasn't looking at at life as a healthy human being. I was looking at it as through somebody that was battling a mental health disease. And, you know, so some things I sensationalized that probably didn't need to be sensationalized. And, you know, so there was a level of truthfulness to it. However, it does not mean it didn't make it any less true to me. Right? Yeah, it didn't make it any less. Reality. Yeah, it didn't make it. Exactly. It didn't make it any less right to me and who I was and what I was feeling. So
I was a neutral pro-human who didn't, like, I'm not like, oh my god, like, everybody deserves to live. It's like chomos and puppy kickers, get the fuck out of here. But what I'm saying is that I have a neutral, you know me, I am pro-human to the max. I packed a bag full of snacks in Vegas, like, for everybody that was, I'm pro-human. Everybody has a place in my house until they don't. The idea that that was an option fucked my ex-husband up. Fucked him up. And I still think that way to this day. But when he would tell me that me being non-religious, non-conformatory, the wild fucking, I'm the wild child. Except this, feral chicken of no talk. We're all talking, right? Feral chicken. I'm a fucking chicken. My human existence, I would give you the fucking shirt off my back in a snowstorm.
Mm-hmm.
My ex then would pick and choose who he gave the shirt to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
Right. But that's your choice.
He thought that was wrong.
Yes, I actually, you know what? Oof. You and I have more common with our ex-spouses than I previously thought. Just hearing you say that, it's like literally just popped into my head like, wow, yeah, that is something similar that was told to me. Like, wow.
Yeah, no, I would, if it was you, if it was fucking Joe Hobo on the street, it doesn't matter to me.
Right, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
That's not to say certain people get a higher level of respect or a higher level of treatment from time to time.
But to be fair, if I found out you kicked a puppy, I'm going to take that shirt off.
I don't think, I never kicked a puppy. Not yet. At least not one that didn't deserve it, like attacking my kid or attacking me.
Yeah, but that's justifiable. That's justifiable homicide at that point.
Yeah, that's justifiable puppy kicking.
I was told that I was wrong.
You're not. Your reality is your reality, and now can it be distorted from time to time because of the shit that we see? Sure, absolutely. And if you're able to admit that to yourself, that means that you can evaluate and be like, you know what, I probably didn't think it the way I probably should have thought about it. However,
I didn't perceive it the way it should have been.
Right. However, that doesn't mean it's like that all the time. And it's okay to have different perspectives. That's why they're called opinions, because they are ideas based on either experience or their educated guess, and that's how they live their lives, and that's okay. Now, if your opinion involves hurting other people, fuck off. I hate you. Don't your opinion's stupid.
Well, it eventually did.
Yeah, exactly. And
like, oh, but you can fuck off.
Going through this whole rigmarole, you started therapy. I'm assuming during that therapy, you guys ended up splitting, but you stuck with it for yourself.
Yeah.
At any point in time through your treatment, through your EMS career, through your life, I want to ask you a very serious question. Did you ever have suicidal ideations? Did life ever hit you to the point where you thought maybe ending it was going to be the answer?
I'm going to answer this to you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always suicidal.
Okay. So you always have those ideations?
Yeah. They're just tucked back here.
Right. Now, I understand that. I understand that statement, believe it or not. And I don't look at it as a bad thing at all.
No,
if it's
not a bad thing.
No,
I'm not going to do anything. If you want the true answer to my question, yes, I am perpetually suicidal, and it comes with, because I don't have situational depression. I actually have depression. Right. It's a chemical imbalance.
That's what depression is, period. Whether it's situational or not, the situation just happens to trigger the chemical reaction.
Yeah. So I have the chemical depression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with not being here.
Okay.
Very okay with not being here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not going to do anything about it. That makes sense. If a bus jumps the curb and takes me out, don't fight.
Okay, but you're also not putting yourself in intentional situations either.
No.
So then there's always those ideas, and people have these ideas, and I think it's the idea that, what would it be like if I just wasn't here anymore? Or does it really matter anymore? I don't want it, but what if, right? Those are technically, those are technically suicidal ideations. However, I guess when people get to that point where they're like, what if I just wasn't here anymore? I mean, I don't want to not be here anymore. It's just, what if I wasn't?
I've been living like that since I was a child.
Right. And that's actually more common than you think. More people have those types of thoughts than you think. Not a lot of people will admit it.
I'm okay with not being here. If I squared up with somebody at a bar and he put a gun to my chest, I would walk to the barrel.
Right. You have no, and I'm kind of the same way. It's if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. I don't want to die, but if I'm going to, it's okay. Yeah. What am I gonna do?
I'm just okay.
Especially if it's by something else that's out of my control. Now, when I talk suicidal ideations, I guess my question is more of, have you ever thought of taking your own action? Not necessarily if something happened to you, you don't care, it is what it is. No, I'm talking about, like, have you ever thought about, I am going to intentionally do something to myself because I don't want to be here anymore?
I have.
Okay. And how have you overcome that?
I talked to my therapist, and my therapist is a fucking rock star. I was like, hey, I did not get the Grippy Socks visit, mind you. I was like, I'm not going to act on it. I just need to talk about it. But yeah, I definitely want to.
So you're not the first person I've talked to who had the idea, like, that they would stare at the gun, right, and be like, all I would have to do, and then they go through all the scenarios of what that would look like. And the funny thing is if you did all those scenarios that you're thinking about, you're not going to be there. So why the fuck are you thinking about them, right? So, but it's weird that we do that. It's weird that people with depression that have those type of ideations, they'll be like, if I did this, this is what life might look like. Well, here's the thing. Does it really fucking matter what life's going to look like after you do it? No, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. You're not the one that has to deal with it. You're dead. You're gone. So why even think about the possibility of what it might look like or who it might help or all this other stuff? All of that stuff doesn't fucking matter, because once you're gone, you're gone. You're not going to be able to see. You're not going to be able to see if it helped.
The recycling thoughts of what would it look like, what would happen, who would find me, etc., means you still want to be alive.
I think so too. And that's where I was going with this, is that, you know, when people have these type of ideations, these type of thoughts, and they're like, well, if I do this, it'll mean that these people will be better off. I won't be such a burden anymore, and I won't. And then people will be able to be happy and all this. You're thinking about what the outcome is of your suicide. Why? Why are you thinking about the outcome? Does it really fucking matter? At the end of the day, if you pull the trigger, does it matter what happens to anybody else other than yourself at that point?
Yeah. If I did anything now, because I am perpetually, depressed and suicidal and everything else, Hannah would find me. My dogs would find me. My family members would find me. And the selfish part of me doesn't want to do that, because I don't want them living with that trauma.
Right. And that's actually the fact that you said the selfish part of you doesn't want you to do that because of them, right? And it's funny that you said it that way, because it is actually selfish of you to not want them to deal with that. People think, well, no, that's not selfish. She's thinking about the other people in her life.
No, it's selfish.
No, it's selfish. It's a selfish thought. It is. It's a selfish thought, because you are thinking about the other people in your life and how you want them to feel. That is what you want. You don't want them to feel this. You don't want them to see that. It is a you thing. Therefore, it is a selfish thing.
It's a selfish thought.
It's a selfish thought. Even though you're thinking...
I never want them to carry that trauma.
Right.
I never want one of my family members to have to call my dad or my sisters because I did something fucking stupid that permanently unalived myself.
Right.
Like,
we all have heard that term.
I have too many Karens to piss off, and I have too many Karens to piss off, and too many thirst traps to make, and too many people to motherfuck in this world to, like, not.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you said the term, perpetually suicidal, I wouldn't necessarily say it's perpetually suicidal. I would say you have perpetual suicidal ideations. Now, because suicidal is actually the planning and really thinking about, I want to do this.
Plan?
Yeah, I'm not saying you don't, but you're saying, you said, for me it was ideations, ideas about suicide, right? That's a perpetual suicidal ideations. Those, being perpetually suicidal in what I've read is literally constantly making plans and then acting out on those plans, and then they fail. And so you try another plan and then it fails, and then you try another plan and then it fails. That's suicidal. That's being perpetually suicidal, is planning, trying to execute, failing. Having perpetual suicidal ideations is just constantly thinking of what it would be like if you took your own life. Those are just ideas. You're not acting. Yeah. You have ideations. You're not acting out on them, right? So that to me, there's
I've only acted once, and I was like 19.
Right, and there's a huge difference, and I want people to understand that, because if you do say I'm perpetually suicidal, that means, okay, so you're perpetually planning and trying, but you're just perpetually having the idea, which is suicidal ideations. There's a huge difference here, and I want people to understand that. Ideations are ideas. Being actually suicidal is planning, wanting, and trying to an extent. And you have to be careful how you say it out loud, because if you say I'm perpetually suicidal, that means, oh shit, we better get her some help right now. That's why I wanted to clear this up with you.
Yeah. No, I have the ideation.
Yeah, I think it's the ideations part.
I'm not gonna act on it.
Mm-hmm.
But if a bus hits me tomorrow, okay.
Right. I think you've become more okay with the idea of life just being, if it ends, it ends. Ideations sometimes also include, like, life might be better if I wasn't here, and shit like that. And
I don't deny that.
Right. And those are ideations, but being okay with what life throws at you, like if a bus comes and hits you, I'm not gonna be like, okay, whatever. I think that's being more okay with dying and not necessarily looking for dying. So I would say it's,
I'm not going to look for it. I'm not going to do it myself. But like,
so that's why I'm saying it's borderline. You're borderline just being okay with death and life as it is, and ideations. The ideations part is life would be better if I wasn't here. I think
I felt like that for a long time. I will say that.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like my existence alone wasn't enough.
Right. And I felt like that as well, and I tied that to how people were in my life were either treating me, or I felt like my actions were hurting them, and I allowed their reactions to my actions define how I felt, instead of realizing that my actions were my actions, and how they interpret them and how they feel about them are their own. I felt like I was responsible for it.
Why did you, can I cut you off right there?
Sure.
Why did you feel responsible? Who made you feel responsible?
Because, okay, so say somebody punches in your arm and it hurts you, you would say that person's responsible for the pain in your arm, right?
Sure.
Okay, so that's a physical thing. I'm putting that to the physical level. Now, when it comes to an emotional level and mental health level, say, hey, you're stupid, you're ugly, you're a piece of shit, I hate you, I'd be better off without you, and I just berate you emotionally, which you went through with your husband, right? He berated you emotionally, and you put how you felt based on what he was saying to you. Now, is it his fault for you feeling that way? Or is it the way you perceived what he was saying that you felt that way?
It's pretty black and white like that. There was no guessing room.
Right. So I felt responsible because of what I was saying and doing and how I was acting. I felt like how they were reacting to it was based on my actions. And therefore I felt responsible. Even though, because it never occurred to me that they can choose to look at it a different way. They can choose to, that never occurred to me. It was, I acted a certain way. Well, if somebody acted that way to me, how would I act? Or how would I feel? Not always the same, but I can see how it would be the same. So yeah, I felt responsible for the way they felt because of my actions, right?
Sure.
You call somebody stupid and they really respect you, it might hurt them. Should you feel responsible for hurting them, or should they be responsible to know that you calling them stupid is up to them on whether or not it's going to affect them? Right? It's this whole thing. You shouldn't be an asshole. I'm not.
I'm going to come to you as mama.
Right.
Never call anybody stupid.
No, I understand that. It was an example. I'm just saying it as an example. As an example, here's the thing. Anybody can call me stupid, whether I love them or not, whether I respect them or not. They can call me stupid.
I literally really am. Sometimes I impress myself with my own intelligence, and other times I leave my phone in the fridge.
Yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't matter who you are. Whether I respect you or you respect me, I love you, you love me. If you call me stupid, it's not going to affect me like it used to. Because I know I'm not stupid. The only person it's going to affect is if I say, you know what, yeah, I am stupid. Or, you know what, yeah, you said that, and now I feel stupid. Well, I'm allowing it. I'm making the choice to allow it to affect me. Yeah. And if I'm making that choice to allow it to affect me, is you calling me stupid responsible for my feeling? Or is it me allowing the fact that you called me stupid to mean more than you just calling me stupid?
You choose the priority in which it affects you.
Correct. Right? But at the end of the day, it's still your choice. No matter who it comes from.
Yep. And
it's a very hard thing to do.
I told you last year, who gives a shit?
Nobody.
And I told you that last year when I saw you in person. Who gives a shit?
Nobody. The only person that only give a shit that matters is your own. If you give a shit, then yeah, it matters. But if you don't, it doesn't have to matter. So that's the way it works. That's the way the human brain works. It's really hard, right? Yeah. Especially with people that we love and we trust and people that we respect when we feel like we're being reprimanded or talked down to and stuff like that. People we love,
like the person you respected is now talking shit to your face and shitting in your fucking Wheaties. Yeah. It sucks. Because that person is just fucking degrading you and doing all of this terrible shit to you that you would never do to them. And the only reason, you want to know what the only reason it hurts? Is because we could never imagine doing it to that person.
The reason why it hurts, I think, even more is that we would never imagine doing it to ourselves and we're allowing it to happen.
That too. But imagine piling on that you would never imagine the person you value is standing in front of you, calling you everything but your fucking name.
Right. Yeah, no, it sucks. It sucks.
Could never imagine doing it to them. And they're doing it to you. And that hurts.
It does
painful.
Hurt. That's why that whole golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. You know,
yes,
I think
that we learned in fucking kindergarten.
Yeah, the reason why I think it's a little bit, how do I say this? I think there can be a little bit more put on that because I think what people expect is treat others the way you want to be treated. They're like, well, I'm treating them this way. Why aren't they treating me the same way in return? Well,
you can't expect. I'm going to say one thing to you.
Hold on. I mean, I was with it, but because I say this and I've made videos. Hey, this is my show. Hush.
Listen, I'm the redhead and the chicken. Hush the mouth.
You cannot expect to be treated the same way in return.
I will say this on top of that, and it's way less than what you just said.
What's that?
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect you from other people.
That's actually more than what I said, but okay. I think it was like 1 or 2 words more.
Listen, I will kick your fucking ankles out of your fucking feet.
I'm just saying, if it's going to be less, be less. Don't say it's going to be less and then actually be more. But yes, it's the same thing. It's the same thing as I said.
You can't expect you from other people.
You cannot expect you from other people.
You cannot expect the beautiful human being that you've blossomed to be or understand like the human empathy side of it. You can't expect you from other people.
No, you cannot. And I'm going to say this. If you're treating other people the way you want to be treated with the idea and expectation of being treated the same way in return, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong.
No, you can't expect. You cannot expect what you put out into this world.
No, you're doing it wrong. If you're doing it for the purpose of being treated the way you treat other people, I want to treat them nice, so they treat me nice.
No,
you're doing it wrong.
On, my guy.
You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. That's why there's this whole thing called boundaries. That's why there's this whole thing called not allowing yourself to relieve yourself of toxic people. It's be the change in the world without allowing the world to dictate how you see that change happen, right? You are being that person because you're choosing to be that person no matter what comes back at you from what you put out. Okay, that's what it's for.
And that's on, like, for example, you know that my brother was here.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker shit in my entire weight. He's disrespected my house, trashed it, everything. And you want to know what my ultimate fuck you was? I sent him back home to the airport in an Uber. I didn't take him to the airport. You ate me out of house and home twice. I was out $600 to like make sure he was taken care of here at home. Motherfucker, I made ribs.
They were baby back ribs, huh? Because you're small.
Yeah, because I'm not stupid. Made baby back ribs, cornbread, and roasted vegetables. Guess where he goes? B-dubs.
I have no idea what that is.
B-dubs? Buffalo Wild Wings?
Oh, Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay, yeah, I know what that is. B-dub. Yeah, I know what B-dubs. I heard B-dubs.
There instead, even though I had ribs on the rack ready at home.
Okay, so this actually takes me into what do you think he meant by doing that?
I don't think he was aware of giving a shit.
Okay, so if he wasn't aware of giving a shit, why are you upset about it?
Because I communicated the fact that he was blatantly disrespectful and continued to disrespect the fact of my house. I don't fucking sleep on disrespect. Like if you're gonna show your ass, I'm gonna tell you you're showing your ass.
Right. Oh, it's to you.
Yeah.
As you should.
And I put my foot down, my all 5 foot down, said some shit.
You put your baby foot down.
Right. And eventually he got better. But the elective idea that he was expecting me to foot his full ride, if you don't got Vegas money, motherfucker, just tell me that.
Right.
But I'm not footing you a bill. I've already spent $600.
So what did we learn from this?
He's not coming to my house again.
Or if anybody comes to your house, maybe communicate what's to be expected and what's not to.
He was here in May, and it was fine.
Then next time he comes, hey, you know when you came last time? That's kind of what's being expected.
He pitched a fit because it was stupid shit. Like, hey, can you go to the grocery store to grab this while I cook dinner? And he nee. And I was like, no, you heard me. Go to the fucking store.
Mm-hmm.
It was like pulling tooth and nail to just exist.
Right.
And this is why, like, Hannah's here. Hannah X2, she's on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
She's here. We fuck off. I barely see the bitch. She's just here.
Right.
She throws in on groceries, whatever else, etc. But doing anything contributory on his end was like pulling teeth from a newborn.
So next time he's there, or if he does, just be like, hey, this is what's expected. If it doesn't happen, you can expect not to come by. Okay.
I told him that. I threatened, if he didn't get his ass out of his head out of his ass a few days ago before I took him didn't take him, but sent him to the airport yesterday, I said to him, if you're going to be like this, I will pay for the Uber and you can sleep in the airport for the next 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Better, but...
People tend to get better when you threaten them with uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, considering I have the money to do it.
Right.
You're not going to come to me and tell me what you can and can't do when you're living in my house in Vegas rent-free.
Right. My house, my rules.
My house, my rules, right?
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, hey, say the word pop. And he's like, pop? I was like, oh, that's the sound of your head on grass.
Okay, Nova. We're gonna move forward with the conversation. I don't want to get into too much of you and your brother's tiff, but it gave me a chance to kind of ask a question to make you think about it. I want to go into something you just mentioned, and we're going to go back to a little bit lighter note. First, I want to say thank you for your opinions and everything and what you shared. I think that, you are loud, you are passionate, and that is a huge thing that people sometimes need. What we call aggressive positivity is your thing, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
And it's fucking really aggressive to the point where you're almost feeling like, I know she's saying good things, but why is she saying it so like madly? It's
no. Listen though.
Oh, yeah, and they do listen, and I think what you're doing is really, really cool. I want to get into your social media and what you're doing with your social media and the little bit of a footprint that you're creating here and the growth that you're making.
To be fair, on accident.
Well, it's usually always on accident because that's kind of what happened with me. What in the hell possessed you to get on social media first?
TikTok, like I was a long time lurker, like just watching videos and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I have the artist mind. Let's go.
You have the what?
And then I realized I have the artist mind.
Okay.
I love creativity. Like I have a ton of art pieces, everything else. I was like, fuck it, why not another creative platform?
Mm-hmm. And
that's just how it happened. And then obviously everybody but me and my family is military. So I was like, okay, I'll post military shit. And it just fucking happened. Like, I don't know what happened. Like I can't even tell you. I can't give you a storyline.
It just
happened.
It just started.
Yeah. I can't pick and choose like one specific event that was like, yep, that's happening. I don't have it.
When you started making the military style, videos and stuff and showing your support with that stuff, you said it was because of your family, and that makes sense. You know, you're showing respect to your family and for what they're doing. But you were also a first responder, and I don't think I've seen one first responder video. All your shit's military.
You saw my job shirt in the one video of me dropping keys.
That's one. Yeah. Okay. One video out of your...
I don't look for that. I don't look for the gratitude. I don't care.
Well, it's not about the gratitude and stuff. So that's not what I'm asking. I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, when you're making your videos and you're doing all these things, now you do make a lot of thirst traps. And for everybody listening, nova_kayne, KAYNE.
Nova.kayne.
Nova.kayne. I'm sorry. NOVA.KAYNE. Go give her a follow on TikTok. You want to talk about some thirst traps? Like, holy fuck. She's wearing the green flannel. Back in her earlier days of her thirst traps, everybody knew the green flannel, and everybody still knows the green flannel. But she started getting involved with this military stuff. And if you're not familiar with social media and you're not familiar with TikTok has this algorithm that, if you start liking like mental health posts, if you start liking military posts, if you start liking comedy posts, it starts showing you, right? So they have like com talk, they have mil talk, they have firefighter talk, so they have fire talk, mental health talk, and so there's like these little segments and stuff of TikTok that these huge communities of people that can relate to and or support those ideas can watch videos that they actually enjoy watching. What the hell kept you going with the Mill Talk stuff? Other than of course you were doing it for your family, like, but other than that, like the Mill Talk stuff, like you've become something of a thing within the Mill Talk community.
I'm the feral chicken. They called me the feral chicken because at one point in one of my videos way early on, I called myself a feral chicken, like as a joke. And the military community took it and fucking ran with it. And now I'm on a D&D server, like everything else, because I play D&D. Mm-hmm. I'm literally a chicken. Oh yeah, it's taken off a whole new meaning. I do a lot of veteran work. I do a lot of finding people going through veteran crisis, etc., who can't directly get to the VA. I call them. I will FaceTime them. There was a gentleman who was going through like a lonely, like mental stage. Mm-hmm. I fell asleep with him on the phone. He's like, "Can you just fall asleep with me on the phone?" Yeah, sure. Plucked my phone up and went to sleep. And it was the idea that he didn't want to be alone. He just wanted somebody else in front of him. And I have my own nonprofit that I'm working up. I don't have my 501c3 at all. But at baseline, letters from home. You want a care package? You want a letter? You want it to smell like bitch? I'll make it smell like bitch. I will send you a letter.
I don't want to know what you're rubbing it on to make it smell like bitch. I don't want to know.
Perfume, bitch.
Oh, perfume. Okay, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. But, like, if you want a letter from home, if you want, you know, a care package of small things, like, that's what I do.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I eventually, over the last year, have been adopted as the mama of Milltop. Because I've done it for several soldiers who are active duty, deployed, etc.
Okay.
Phone calls, FaceTime, anything. And they kind of just picked me because I've never served a day in my life.
Right, but you're showing the support that I believe that's what. I mean, fuck, look at end of World War II, the kind of support that, and then since then has died out for military servicemen.
Yeah. And I've learned recently that people like me with my support don't exist.
What do you mean? They just don't exist.
A lot of people are anti-military.
There are a lot of people that are anti-military, but I think that the Milltop community,
the silent majority are pro-military, but the
correct.
loudest ones are anti-military.
Right. Well, that's usually. But here's the thing. Remember, the loudest one in the room is usually the one that has almost nothing to say. So you just got to remember that the loudest one in the room usually has nothing to say. I'm not forgetting. So.
I'm not forgetting that. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I'm the loud majority of the Milltop community. And that's where you get the big mama comments on my videos. That's where you get, like, mama's here, like, everything else. Like, I'm mom. And I refuse to let any of my active duty or reserves or veterans feel like they're without.
Right.
And I've done that for the better part of a year, and they eventually adopted me as a feral chicken because while I'm not a veteran, I've never served a day in my life because, well, MEPS denied my ass. I take care of them.
Yeah.
I've located veterans in crisis. I've located everybody who needs help. I've sent chainsaws to people when a hurricane hit them. They just picked me.
Right.
I didn't ask for this. I'm just here.
They picked you and you decided to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you like it. Why the thirst traps?
Because I can.
Okay, that's it. That's a good enough answer. I'm not going to stop there.
I can.
I'm going to stop there because you can. Because you can. That's all you needed to say. Because I can. Can't argue with that. Can't argue with that. You know, you started following. That's how we met, is through social media and everything. And I think the first time you saw me, it wasn't even actually through a video. It was actually through one of my lives. You jumped into one of my lives, and I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But a lot of my lives we're talking about mental health stuff and, you know, what I'm trying to do and sharing my story and stuff like that. And you latched on, like, immediately, and I can't say thank you enough for that. Because, you know, even though it says what makes us fire, and I am a firefighter and everything else, we help military, we help first responders, cops, EMTs, dispatchers, nurses. Like, we help first responders, people that are in the front line. That's what we're about. And I think what you're doing on social media and the support that you're showing, I think people are latching onto you, especially within the community. They're latching onto that because they feel like it's rare, right? The majority of people actually do support the military. You're just being loud about it is rare because a lot of people are afraid. They're afraid of the repercussions. They're afraid of the court of public opinion. They're afraid of what other people are going to do to them. They're afraid of being banned. They're afraid of being, you know, reported or whatever the case may be. And they support, but they support in the comments, right? They support, but they support by, you know, sending a TikTok gift. You're supporting by putting yourself out there and saying, hey, look, motherfuckers, these people that are sacrificing for us, this is what they want. This is what they are looking for.
Opinions. But you can hate the military, but don't forget that someone died for you to have that opinion.
Correct. Exactly. Like, you're allowed to have that. That's the whole point. Right.
It's okay.
But
don't
remember,
forget who sacrificed.
for you to be able to do that, because there's certain countries that if you start talking about the government or the military in a bad way, you're going to jail, you're executed.
You get cornered. You get all kinds of shit.
Right. So I don't think people realize how good they have it here in this great country of ours, where you can talk bad and down the people that are literally fighting for you to talk bad and down them. Like, that's why they're fighting. So you have the right to do that. I'm going to tell you,
like, I may not like your opinion, but you have the freedom to have it.
Well, and that goes to the whole First Amendment right? Freedom of speech. And everyone's like, well, I can say what I want. I can say what I want. Absolutely, you can. But you are not free from consequence. And you are not free from repercussions of what you say. There's a huge difference between freedom of speech and freedom of consequence.
There's a saying I live by. There's no such thing as can't, only consequence. You can do whatever you want.
Correct.
It doesn't mean you're not going to face the consequence.
Exactly. And that goes for what you say.
Whether it's good or bad, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. You're going to face something.
Right. And that face is consequence. You say something, somebody might say something back. You say something, you might get in trouble for it. There is consequence for what you say. It doesn't mean you can't say it. The only law that we have with that freedom of speech is you can't do any call to action for violence. So you can't threaten somebody, and you can't ask other people to threaten somebody.
So my neutral stance on that is our veterans, active duty, everything else is the people who aren't here today fought for your right to be an asshole.
Exactly. And that's that, and I think what you're doing in the support that you're showing is huge for the military community, especially the military community that's on social media. You know, the stuff that you put out, it's funny, it's inspiring. You fight for a lot of people. You stand up for a lot of people, even though, you know, they have to look down when you stand up. It's you're showing some, for lack of a better term, you're showing some balls, and you're fighting against the establishment, and you're fighting against the machine that seems to, for whatever reason, has this really loud voice. And it's rare that you find that in people. It's rare that you find that, to be honest with you, it's rare that you find that in a woman in general. And I didn't want to bring up the whole sex into it, but it is a thing. It is a thing. You know, women aren't, I mean, yes, there's this huge empowerment movement going on and everything else, as there should be. But I don't think it should be specific to women. I think, you know, empowering yourself as a person first should be praised, no matter who you are, male, female, doesn't matter, you know, what your background is. If you're empowering yourself, and while doing so, you're making the world a better place, it's a good thing. Now, if you're empowering yourself so you can have the power to be like, well, I'm a woman, you need to listen to me, or, well, I'm this, so you need to listen to me, or I'm that, so you need to listen to me, because if you don't, you're oppressing me. No. If you're playing that card, get the fuck out of here. I don't
feel like that's all.
Yeah, if you're playing that card, get the fuck out of here. Now, if you're empowering yourself to make the world a better place and for the people that surround you in your world, then yeah, that's a great thing. That's where I'm coming to, is I think that's what you're doing. You're not doing it for any one specific, yes, you are doing it for the Miltalk community, but at the same time, you're showing that it can be done for anybody. Right?
That's you. What made you pick me?
To be on the show? Or just in general?
In general. Just in general. Because you followed me back. Like, just, because you asked me earlier, what was it about you? Right. I'm flipping the table.
Oh, you're flipping the table.
What was it?
What was it about you that made me follow you back? Your thirst traps. You had boobs. I'm kidding. No, it wasn't that. I was kidding. No, at the time, shit, that was like a year. That was like a year ago. It was some of the stuff that you were putting out there of your aggressive positivity is what it was. It was like, holy shit. I don't know if she's mad at me or if she's like trying to motivate me, but I like it. Like, she's yelling, but she's yelling things in an angry voice that I'm awesome. I don't know what to feel. You're fucking awesome, you dumb shit! What? Okay, thank you. Wait, did you just call me a dumb shit at the same time? I don't know what's going on. Like, it's kind of like that thing that I was like, I love the energy. I love the positivity that you were showing. And of course, I've seen you grow since then. I've seen you grow in your content and what you're doing since then. And it's fun to watch, and it's fun to see now that you kind of have more of, instead of a little bit of everywhere, now your line has become a little bit more straight. And what you're trying to do and what you're putting out there, and the purpose and cause and change you're trying to make. And I think that it's amazing that when people can find a way to be themselves but make a difference in other people's lives by being themselves, they're not acting, they're not putting on a character, they're not trying to be something they're not to make a change. They're just being themselves and who they are, and they have found a way to do that and make a positive change in other people's lives. Those are the type of people I want in my life. Those are the type of people that I want to associate myself with. Huh?
I'm still here a year later.
Yeah, you're still here a year later. I'm still here a year later. And so, it's that's what it was. It was, I felt like this is a person that's being who they are and is making a positive impact on people. And
you've met me in person. I don't change.
No, you do not. She is the same exact fucking person in person. That sounded weird when I said it out loud. The energy, the tenacity, the craziness, the off the wall feral chicken that you guys see on social media from Nova is the same in person. And I mean, just walk with her down Fremont Street. You will lose her literally in 30 seconds. If you do not have your eyes on her, you will lose her. She will disappear. And it's not just because she's short. It's because she's fucking everywhere all the time. She just does not.
I also bring snacks.
Yes, you do. She brought snacks. She brought a backpack full of snacks for everybody to make sure that if you were drinking, you had something in your stomach, which is pretty cool. I'm going to start winding this down. First, I want to say thank you for coming on the show. Sure. Thank you for being here. It's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming.
It's been the better part of a year.
Yeah. I can't wait to see you again in April for the Cheer Choice Awards.
Gosh, I'm looking forward to it. You're going to get... I know you got the tackle hug the last time because I broke your ankles. I'm sorry.
I was okay.
You're gonna get, but like when I see you, you're gonna get low and slow.
Sweet. Aw, I can't wait.
You're gonna get the low and slow because I miss you.
I miss you too.
And I thank you for having me.
Oh, of course. Are you kidding me? What you put out there is worth sharing. Your story is worth sharing. Even if it's one person that can relate some way, somehow, and use your tactics on how you overcame it or your mindset.
A lot of it, my only tactic is just not giving a shit.
Right. And that's the thing. You just, when you say not giving a shit, it's, you don't give a shit about what other people bring into it. You do give a shit about what you think. Like, I think this is right, therefore that's the only thing that fucking matters. Everything else, I don't give a shit about. That's what you mean by not giving a shit. I just want to make sure that that's clear for everybody.
Not other people, that's okay. But at the end, it's only me.
Exactly.
Choose you, Pikachu.
Choose you, Pikachu. You've listened to the show before.
I have.
You know, at the end of the show, I usually ask about 3 questions.
Yes.
Do you know what those 3 questions are? Do you remember them?
It's been a while.
Okay, so I asked about 3 questions. You can spark another 10, 15-minute conversation. They can be one-word answers. I don't give a shit. There's no right or wrong answer.
I love you, and I can't wait to see you in April.
I can't wait either. And real quick, before I ask these last 3 questions, do you want to go ahead and put out your I mean, we did talk about what your social media is, but if you have anything else you would like to plug, now's your chance. Go for it.
My thing is, whatever you're worried about, don't.
Okay, there it is. Whatever you're worried about, don't. It's that simple, everybody. It's really that simple.
Don't.
It's literally the simplest, hardest thing you'll ever have to do.
It's hard.
My first...
Whatever you're worried about, don't.
My first question to you is, say we are on the Feral Chicken podcast and Miss Nova.kayne is the podcast host, but she's interviewing Miss Nova.kayne, the Feral Chicken from Mill Talk. What's the one question you would have asked yourself and or piece of information you would have liked to have shared that maybe we didn't hit on? You kind of just gave a piece of information and like a little bit of a thing, but is there anything else about yourself or something else that maybe you would have asked yourself or some information or motivation?
When I was 16,
Mhm.
I had a mental snap, like a light switch.
Mhm.
It could always be worse. Whatever you're going through, it could always be worse.
So do you think, and that's a good thing to think about, but do you think that thinking about the possibility of it being worse makes what you're going through any less?
It makes it easier.
I think that's the best way to put it.
Still sucks.
Yeah, because I don't want people to think that if
Yeah.
you tell yourself it could always be worse, it's
No,
not trying
it
to
still
say,
sucks.
yeah, it's not trying to say that the problem or issue you're going through is it should be nothing, just
No,
because it could
it
be
still
worse.
sucks.
It still
But it
sucks,
could be worse.
but it could be worse. I think what that saying is meant to be for is it could be worse, so it makes the situation I'm going to be dealing with, as much as it sucks, it makes it a little bit easier to handle. Because yeah, you're right, it could be worse. It could be worse. So let me handle what I got here now,
Yeah,
because
you got it in front of you. But here's the thing. Another thing. You're suffering. You're alive.
yes, you are. Yes,
You're
you
alive.
are.
You are suffering and feeling like shit, but you're alive. And
Right.
it could always be worse. You could be dead.
Yes, absolutely. There's no coming back from that one. There's
Yeah.
no coming back from that one. I think suffering you can build upon. You can
You
actually gain
survive
strength.
suffering. You can't survive dead.
No, you cannot survive dead. You cannot. As great as a medic as she is, and as an okayest intermediate that I am, there is nothing we can do for a systole except pump on your chest and give you epinephrine and hope you still have enough electrical activity in your body to get it started again.
Yeah, PEA is not a rhythm, by the way.
No, it's not. PEA is not a rhythm, and neither is a systole. So everybody watching TV shows where they're like, oh, they're flatline, shock them. Yeah, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's completely false. It doesn't work that way.
Anyway, continue.
My next question is, do you have any questions for me? Now, you already asked me a couple, but this is at the end of the show, so if you want to get serious, get serious. If you want to be funny, be funny. If you just want to know my favorite color, fuck, I don't give a shit. So go for it.
My question for you?
Yeah. Do you have any questions for me? If you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
That works too.
I'll ask you.
Okay.
How are you?
Oh, that's a good one. I am okay. I am okay. I am...
What is
okay?
your okay?
Okay, so what is my okay? My okay is that I'm allowing life to be what it is without dictating how I feel about it and how I feel about my life. So the bad things are, there's some stuff that I'm going through. The divorce and everything's obviously very stressful, but I'm not allowing that to bring me down. There's a lot of good things. There's a lot of good things.
How are you taking care of yourself? What matters to you right now?
What matters to me right now? Seeing my son, seeing my daughter, making sure that what I'm trying to build to help other people does not fail, because I truly feel like it helps me at the same time. And so I'm working towards all those things. But for me, being okay is being at a good equal medium, allowing the happy to be happy.
Another question.
Okay, go for it.
Have you chosen you lately?
Ooh, good question. Have I chosen myself lately? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
How have you done
For certain situations, but yes, I have. I can't get too much into it, but it does deal with the whole divorce stuff going on. So I can't get too much into detail as to how I chose myself first through that, because I can't. There's some things that happened, but yes, I did.
So hear me out. No words. I'm proud.
La 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 la.
I'm proud of you.
You said no words. I had to be nice. So thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm proud of you for being on this side of the dirt. I'm proud of you for picking yourself. I'm proud of you for working as hard as you have and choosing you. And I'm proud of you for being the father you know you want to be. I'm proud of you.
I appreciate that.
Shut up. I'm proud of you for being the person that you know you are. You're not allowed to be anything less in front of me. And I know that for myself.
Right. And I'm proud of you for knowing that for yourself. I'm proud of you for not allowing anybody else to dictate anything about you.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
And no, nobody does. That's why I'm feral. That's literally why. But
Because you don't give a shit.
I'm talking to you.
Okay.
I'm proud of you. A year ago, the stress was palpable. It was personally palpable between another human, etc., everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud of you for finally, I don't know. Do you ever feel bad for cutting cancer out? No.
No.
You don't. I don't feel bad for a tumor. That's stupid. If she's not conducive to a positive lifestyle, or he, they, them, whatever, I don't fucking care. I'm thankful that you picked yourself and you're on this side of the dirt based on what you've gone through and how you've lived.
I appreciate
Nobody gets to pick your suffering but you.
Right. And everybody listening, she's speaking to, if you follow What Makes Us Fire and you follow me on social media and you've heard some of the past episodes, I share my story very openly. We didn't get too much into it. We concentrated on Nova a lot, but Nova knows, and she actually saw the beginning of the end of what was going on with me. In person. So, I mean, we even actually spent like an hour or two, just me and you hanging out, for a while in Vegas, and we got to talk and everything else and hang out. And she was privy to some things that, at the beginning of the end of, my relationship and what it was doing to me, and the beginning of me starting my process in healing, she was privy to some of that. So that's what she's referring to as the whole different person that I am now.
So I'm going to tell you right now, thank you for fucking being here, and thank you for being alive and still being here a year later after all of that bullshit, especially after what happened with you in the first place.
Right.
You didn't try again.
No, I did not. I did not try again.
And that's what I'm saying. Thank you for electing to suffer, I guess. Suffer. Because you embraced the suck, and you're still here, and we are still doing this interview.
Yep.
If
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Between here and April, I will come back and kill you myself.
Okay. I'm not going to do anything stupid. Well, I can't say I'm not going to do anything stupid, but I won't do anything stupid to myself. I'm sure I'm going to do a lot of stupid things. I like my girlfriend now is probably like, no, you've done some stupid things.
Yeah. She probably is like, you've done some dumb shit.
Yeah. She's looking at me right now going, yep, yes, you have done some stupid things.
Yeah, yes, you have.
She's laughing on the inside.
You are worthy of every ounce of love and light and positivity you put into this world, but you are not allowed to sacrifice yourself in order to put that love and light into this world.
Hey, you guys remember that aggressive positivity I was talking about?
This podcast? Yep, that's how
I got one more question for you. I told you there was 3 questions.
We got through 2.
The last question is, you're on What Makes Us Fire. A lot of people listening could be like, oh, we're listening to what makes them firefighters, EMTs, first responders, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of it. But it's more of the idea of what do you think it is that makes us the kind of people we are? Military, first responders, the kind of people that are willing to make a sacrifice of themselves, be it physical, mental, heart, financial even. What is it about those type of people, and what is that commonality within all of us that allows us to do what we do? Like, what do you think that is? What gives us that fire to do it? What's that?
2 words. Unsolicited compassion.
Unsolicited compassion. And I believe you. I think that is a very huge commonality among first responders and military personnel, and as to doing why we do what we do. Here's my conundrum. With as many different types of people that do the job, and backgrounds and histories and religions and beliefs, we all came to that conclusion, but being extremely different. How did we do that?
With unsolicited compassion comes the realization that we're all fucking human.
It's probably one of the best answers I've had.
We're all
the unsolicited compassion, because we came to the realization that it doesn't matter where you came from, what you believe, who you love, how you love, what you do in your free time, is that at some point, we all...
And people as fucked up as they are, we're all human.
Right. And those fucked up people are your first responders and military personnel and everything else. Just letting you know. There's fucked up people in the world. We're part of them. But we still choose to do what we're doing because I think we are able to break it down to the human level. We're not allowing...
Unsolicited compassion. We are all human.
Right. We're all human. And I think because we came to the realization that we're all human, we're able to have that unsolicited compassion. So I think it actually can be breaking down.
Did I just trump your answers?
Not necessarily, because even though we're all human, we still found a way to allow ourselves...
I mean, I'll face fuck a puppy kicker every time. Like, kaboom.
That puppy kicker might like the fact that you're face fucking him. Just saying.
Not with my boot.
Oh, not with your boot. No, don't fuck him with your boot. That would hurt. Anyway, Nova, I love you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody on What Makes Us Fire, everybody listening, go check out nova.kayne. That's nova.kayne on TikTok. Check her out. She is part of the Mill Talk community. She is the feral chicken. Go show her some love. You want some aggressive positivity. You want some of that shut up, motherfucker, you're awesome type of positivity. She is the person that you want in your life. Trust me. And I can't thank her enough for being a friend, supporter, and just being in my life. It's been an amazing ride. I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to see how we become a part of the What Makes Us Fire and how we can help the military portion. And yeah, I just thank you. You're one of our first supporters, and you've been here since the beginning. So it's amazing to see that you stuck around and that you continue to stick around. And I can't thank you enough for that. And the only way I can is just to say thank you. Maybe I'll send you a hat. I don't know. But sticker.
I'll take a black one.
Okay, cool.
I'll see you in April.
I will see you in April. I miss your face too. Sweet. We'll see you in April. Oh, and for everybody that doesn't know, if you would like to see Nova and myself in April 8th and 9th, Cheer Choice Awards put on by Spread the Cheer USA, you guys can go check out and get all that information. There's going to be a bunch of creators there, a bunch of Mill Talk, bunch of firefighters. Nova's going to be there. If you want to come and hang out with us and see, go to spreadthecheerusa.org, click on Cheer Choice Awards. There they have tickets, they have the hotel rooms and everything else. Also, right now, until January 31st, you can nominate your favorite social media creators on any social media platform. If they make a difference to you, if you feel like they're making a difference to you and a difference in the world, not just on social media. What?
Do you feel like I made a difference?
Yeah, you made a difference. You've definitely made a difference. That's not a loaded question. It's a simple answer. God damn it. Where was I? Go to Cheer Choice Awards. Go to spreadthecheerusa.org. Go to the Cheer Choice Awards. You can nominate your favorite creators if you think that they're making a difference, not only on social media, but throughout the world, through your world. What Makes Us Fire would love your nomination for either humanitarian, military first responder, motivational, inspirational, and original sound / creation or concept. Original sound / concept. We fall into those 4 categories. Do not nominate us under beauty. This is not beauty.
Why not?
This is not beauty. No.
I met you in person. You a handsome man, sir.
This is not beauty. Do not nominate us for beauty. Anyway, we would love the nomination. We're not expecting to win anything. We would just love to see our name next to some of these most amazing creators out there that are making a big difference on social media and for you by just talking and being ourselves. And that's a huge thing, that we have found a way to start making a difference by videos, by 30-second videos, and creating something above that afterwards. So again, spreadthecheerusa.org, Cheer Choice Awards.
I'm looking forward to this podcast to drop.
What Makes Us Fire family. Again, this was Nova.kayne. I am Josh, host of What Makes Us Fire. Much love to y'all. Remember, have fun, stay safe, show some love and peace out in the world. You never know who's going to need it. You never know if you're going to be the one to make the difference. And being that difference, it feels really good. Not only for them, but for yourself. Be the change you want to see in the world without allowing the world to dictate how you see that change. Just be better for you. And I promise you, it will make a difference in the world. Much love. Peace. You want to say bye?
Toodles!
All right, that was Nova.kayne. I want to thank her again for coming on the show, sharing her experience. I told you guys, she's a bit of a loud one. You'll notice that she does not, I repeat, does not like not having time to speak her mind. There's plenty of times where she kept trying to say something and I kept trying to say something because she constantly was trying to say something. I love her to death, but don't argue with her. You'll lose. You probably won't even hear what she's saying, and she's definitely not hearing what you say. Her aggressive positivity is something that is unmatched. I've yet to find somebody that is unmatched, and it is something that I believe truly can help people. There's some people out there that really fall in line with that kind of positivity towards them. Don't get me wrong, there's a bunch of positive ways to lift someone up, and some of it's very lovey-dovey, some of it's very calm, sweet, and carefree. Well, not with Nova. Nova is, look here, you dumb motherfucker, you're fucking awesome. And because of that, I fucking love her. Nova, thank you so much for coming on the show. Y'all, go check her out on TikTok, nova.kayne, nova.kayne. And saying all that, it's that time of the show where I say thank you. Thank you for listening. And please go follow us on all our social media podcast hosting sites and our nonprofit hosting sites, I guess. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You can check us out with the tag @WhatMakesUsFire on all of the above. If you find us somewhere else, let me know. I probably didn't set that up, and I want to go thank whoever did, or tell them to stop. I'm not sure yet. You can also email me at WhatMakesUsFire.com, info@WhatMakesUsFire.com, excuse me. You can also email me at info@WhatMakesUsFire.com. There, I will get to your emails as soon as I can. Please be patient. Please be patient. I will get back to you. If you are finding yourself in a crisis right now and you need somebody to talk to, the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 100% free, anonymous, and confidential. It's a number that you can call to help get you off that ledge and get you the help to help you start your conversation. The number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, the number is 1-800-273-8255. If making that phone call just not right for you yet, you're just not there, that's okay. The suicidepreventionlifeline.org is a website for you to go and check out, where you can find a multitude of resources for you to learn and to grow from and to start that conversation. I would like to also say the National Suicide Prevention Hotline or Suicide Prevention Lifeline do not in any way support or know about What Makes Us Fire and what we do and how we put out their information. They're just two very, very, very good avenues that we believe in to help you. Yo, there's a lot going on in this world. It's 2022. There's a lot that's changed in my life, and I cannot thank you enough for being here. Cannot thank you enough for your support. I hope that you continue to support What Makes Us Fire. I hope you continue to spread the word about us. If you would like to make a donation, if you like some What Makes Us Fire gear, if you'd like to find out how you can be a sponsor of the show or the nonprofit, visit WhatMakesUsFire.com. You'll find all the information you need there. And if you don't, email me, contact me in any way you can. I'll be sure to let you know. Much love, everybody. Have fun. Stay safe. Peace.